And we are live. Wrestle Purist live, hosted by myself, Joe Hulbert, Ibu of Wrestle Purist, also known to some of you guys as Backup Hangman. Got a lot to talk about today, including reviewing Crown Jewel. We're going to talk a little bit about Collision as well. The latest rumors on the coming and goings of WWE, it seems. You know, you've got the latest Will Ospreay rumors. Some rumors have been picking up again about CM Punk to WWE. Corey Sane return. There's a whole bunch of stuff to get into. But first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any questions, any takes that you have, turn on the post notifications. Hope everyone is doing good, starting with my fellow co-host, who I'm also being joined by Manny the Hooper. I'm going to start with Manny the Hooper. Head in your hands. What's up, brother?
First of all, I thought you guys were live this whole time while I was backstage, but fuck, man, I'm very upset, man. We just lost the fucking game, bro. We were up the whole time, and then the second half, they just stopped passing the ball to Wemby. They just stopped passing him the ball, and then the Raptors catch up, and they just go to fucking Zach Collins the whole second half. They think he's like a first round pick.
You know what's funny about that, Manny? My brother, who at this point watches more active like basketball games than I do, he's really invested in Wemby as well. And he was like, "Yo, man, these motherfuckers are passing the ball." And I theorized, and he agreed with me. I think there's real like modern player resentment towards like even if he's on your team, the guy getting all the hype. And so now that there's extra attention on the Spurs and people are watching the games, I think people want to almost get over themselves instead of just passing the ball and winning the fucking game and doing what's right for the team.
And the thing that gets me more annoyed about him too is like he's real passive sometimes, not aggressive. So then he only becomes aggressive when they're down in the fourth quarter and he has to come back and score. And I'm just like, where is this during okay, Monty. In the first half he had 15 and 5. He had 15, 10 and 5. Mm-hmm. And then they just stopped
10 rebounds?
Yeah, 10 rebounds and 5 blocks.
Damn.
And then they just stopped passing him the ball in the second half. And then in the OT, they passed it to him 3 times. And he scored both times and then got the assist on one of them. And then they just stopped passing him the ball.
He's a fucking giraffe.
Anyway, Wemby, needs more support. Anyway, Hulbert, how are you doing, brother? Nice shirt.
Cheers, mate. I'm delighted. I'm happy to be here. I've officially branded this Wrestle Purist Worldwide Clash of the Champions. It's like a special we're doing here.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty fired up. We have some professional wrestling to discuss. Whether it was good or not, we'll discuss over the next 2.5 hours or whatever it will be. But I'm delighted to be here as always.
So, our live chat's kicking the shit out of us.
Well, I mean, we did lead with like 2 minutes of NBA.
First take.
It was also like life and death NBA talk, because it's not like 7 games into the season. But
the crowd's like, "What the fuck is this?" The crowd hit us with the very rare, "We want wrestling."
Only had to tag me in an arm drag.
What's going on with you anyway? You've had kind of an eventful day on Twitter.com.
A bit.
X.com, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently now I'm it's just like, I don't know. It's like, I don't fucking know, man. Yesterday I was a bad faith grifter. Today I'm a Fed-hating liar who sources do trust me, bro. So yeah, man, another day, another finger pointed at back of Hangman. But that just comes with the territory, so I don't get too mad about it. But yeah, I had the refute of report today that was out about CM Punk, and it did me no, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I would have loved the report to be true, quite frankly, but it just was not, and so that's just kind of what happened there. Other than that, I'm doing all right. The things that I needed to be good at Crown Jewel were good, and I'm looking forward to talking about that. Looking forward to talking about AEW Collision. I'm happy to be with the Worldwide crew to be here on a Sunday special, as this is Clash of the Champions. And regarding the incoming build to Survivor Series, tomorrow will determine whether I give a shit about this show or not. Because we may have 2 War Games matches, and we might have a Miz match on the card. And once that happens, I'm probably going to mentally disconnect.
You mentioned the CM Punk rumors coming up, and kind of your, you call it refuting an incorrect report. But we'll start with the CM Punk stuff, of course.
Really,
rumors have been picking up again with CM Punk following Crown Jewel. I'm just going to find the exact tweets because I weren't actually expecting to go into it straight away. But since it's been already brought up, it's what we're doing, people. But yeah, apparently, according to private Twitter scoopster or whatever, we don't normally aggregate him, but because Ibu's decided to interact with him on this fine Sunday, we kind of have to give you the context of what's going on here. So, anyway, here we go. Boozer Wrestling tweeted, Punk was scheduled for a call with a few board members, of course talking about WWE. Backstage feeling is it's happening, doesn't mean it's done. I am waiting for the follow-up on the call. It should be the last step before things go down. So he is, of course, claiming that CM Punk was scheduled to have a call with WWE board members. Ibu of Wrestle Purist, famously known as Backup Hangman, replies to this saying, Booze, I don't know why you're doing this, but I just asked about this from someone on the CM Punk side and it was denied. And he just said that he's not doing anything other than sharing information that he has been told to share. So yeah, Ibu, what is going on with CM Punk? Was there a call meeting? Was there any sort of recent momentum in the direction of CM Punk being at Survivor Series or just going to WWE at all? What is kind of feeling from the CM Punk side of things, and just tell the people.
CM Punk remains ready just in case anything happens. He is actively doing his part to stay in shape and stay ready just in case, because you never know in this unpredictable business. CM Punk has sent feelers out to WWE. WWE has, gotten back to him. There was contact. There was absolutely contact between both parties earlier in this process, earlier as in like before Fastlane. But as of Fastlane, the internal decision was not now for Phil and in Survivor Series. And at no point was a message sent to CM Punk from WWE as like he never got a hard no from them. They never were like, this is not happening, no to you, this is it. But it has become clear now, speaking to people within WWE, that for a couple reasons, it doesn't appear that this is in the cards right now, especially for Survivor Series. You ask anybody within the company that I could speak to, I've spoken to people within creative who, in some cases, they would know. They were basically informed that this is just not a thing that's happening for the pay-per-view. And I reached out to CM Punk's camp today because of the Boozer tweet. I was just really curious to see if he spoke to any board members, and it was basically relayed to me that why would Punk speak to a board member when he could just talk to Nick Khan? And Nick Khan is the power broker when it comes to these types of moves. And Phil did not talk to any board members, and he's not scheduled to talk to any board members. Board members don't handle these types of transactions or signings or whatever you would like to call them. So that's just the deal with that. It just didn't happen. And right now, he's not expected to be at Survivor Series. Nobody has been told overtly within the company that he's going to be at Survivor Series. And you ask anyone from CM Punk's camp, and they'll claim to you that they haven't been informed that he will be at Survivor Series. Pen has not been put to paper when it comes to CM Punk and WWE, but that does not mean that this is a dead deal necessarily either, because the vibe from WWE is also a bit of a not right now type of thing. And sources close to CM Punk would not be surprised if he was reached out to for WrestleMania season. But right now, WWE just sees it as business is going well. They have what they want to do at Survivor Series set up. The tickets are already pretty much sold out. And so they just feel that they have a good enough show that they want to go with. And that's what they are doing. So that's the Punk update.
So that's that. So bullet points would be the so-called call with board members, according to people close to CM Punk, did not happen. There hasn't been a hard no or yes from WWE as of right now, but it does not seem like Survivor Series is going to be happening. But that definitely does not write off, tap myself on the back here. I've never been too sold on Survivor Series. I've always thought it was a Mania season thing. Pat myself on the back for that one. But that's still on the cards, I guess, even though it's not like been confirmed or anything. But that's not off the table yet. But Survivor Series is looking less and less likely as we get closer to it. What are you going to say, Uber?
Well, a further indication that this doesn't seem to be a thing at the moment is the fact that top wrestlers in WWE have actually reached out to members of AEW management, specifically to ask, is Phil the devil? This was a legitimate thing that happened. And that indicated to AEW that, so Phil didn't sign a deal over there, I guess, because what's happening here, this guy asking me would know. But yes, it was asked if Phil is the devil. For the record, folks, Phil is not the devil.
You got proof of that, kid?
As of right now.
Phil is not the devil.
Wrestling's a weird business. He could show up at the Rumble. He could still show up at Chicago. It's just, as of right now,
right?
He's not the plan,
By the way, I should also add about Nick Khan specifically. Part of his job here was not only to, just kind of survey the situation and figure out what he wanted to do, but also check the temperature. And Nick Khan, like most people within the company of WWE, he's monitored what happened with CM Punk at the end of his run in AEW. And he's seen what happened there, right? And so there was very much a vibe of like, is this guy all right? And I had to
Does he know that Tony Khan was scared for his life?
Yeah, he's very aware of that headline. Nick Khan was doing his own independent research as to this Phil guy, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Good for him.
He was definitely like snooping around and going like, "Is this bullshit? Do we want to bring this guy in? Is he all right? Like, what's the deal with him? Like, I don't know.
All right?
Genuinely, like just it was that type of thing. So, who knows what his conclusions were? It was not relayed to me what his very specific conclusions were, but I'd assume it's in line with the overall company decision to just leave it alone for now. So who knows what that means, and we'll see what the future brings with regards to CM Punk. He has other offers on the table. It was mentioned to me that he has options. That was the quote. He has options, and he will absolutely choose.
NWA, bro.
It was relayed to me that he has options in 2024. And so who knows what that means? Maybe Rocky Romero reaches out to him. Maybe he does choose the Impact route. Maybe he
Court Bauer?
Probably not. Court Bauer is going to send a phony press release that like Sports Kita and like Ringside News will run. But...
Breaking: MLW in talks with Cult of Personality figure.
Have you seen those press releases, Joe? Like,
I know. I get them every time in my email.
Oh my
God. That's right. You're signed up, of course.
Nobody ever like really pays deep attention to them because sometimes they're kayfabe and like people will still like aggregate and run it. It's really funny. But yeah, guys, too long didn't read. He didn't do the fucking. He didn't have a meeting with board members. Board members don't talk to wrestlers to bring them in companies. That doesn't happen.
I guess the only other new thing that's kind of, I know you've kind of alluded to it throughout the past, but we are saying that, CM Punk has had contact with WWE. I know that, because as far as, obviously I'll be paraphrasing, I won't know word for word what is exactly said, but the basic gist of a lot of reporting, because I'm seeing a lot of people like misinterpreting things, like, for example, people being like, Sean Ross Sapp said he's definitely not coming. Sean Ross Sapp never said that. He said that talent have been told that they're not in talks with him, and what else was it? Talent have been told that they're not in talks with CM Punk. People on creative have been told they're not in talks with CM Punk. Well, obviously anything can happen. I think it's his pin tweet or something like that. Dave said that WWE turned him down, but there hasn't been anywhere that's put out, like the two have had like talks and stuff. So obviously there's that as well. Which
CM Punk has never been overtly informed of some kind of turn down from the WWE.
But there has been back and forth between the two sides. So
yep,
yeah. Punk has had talks with WWE. As for now, it doesn't look like he's coming in anytime soon, but it is something that, the impression I'm getting is that WWE know they've got it in the back pocket.
Yes.
And it's like, number 30 at the Rumble
They're in a great
or
position.
WrestleMania. Yeah, they're in a really nice business is good right now. They don't need CM Punk. They don't need that extra, they don't need that extra shot of they don't need that extra shot of adrenaline in the shows. Like, they're doing really well right now. But when it comes to Mania season, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, or one of the other top stars who may not have a clear-cut opponent or plan for Mania season. Who knows?
Nick Aldis.
There's
Brock Lesnar.
there's speculation both from within people in WWE and from CM Punk's camp that he'll be relied upon as a creative bailout, so to speak. And what I mean by that is a key guy who doesn't have a big match for Mania that needs one. Well, Phil, take the warm-ups off, come off the bench. And they're confident that if they are in that situation, they'll be able to just kind of get him to come because of money and just his general willingness to wrestle and get paid. So that's where we stand with that.
Punker, yeah. How are we feeling right now? What's your if I have to ask you for a prediction? Where do you think it's 5th of November 2024? No, yeah, 2024. Has Punk showed up in WWE yet? And at what event? You
said February?
November. This time next year, November 5th, 2024. When did CM Punk show up in WWE?
A year from now. Yes.
Yeah. What's your prediction? What's your prediction, Bill?
I think he does come. We're doing it.
I'm putting you on the spot. It's only a prediction, We've prefaced it. No one can run it as a scoop. No one's gonna quote you.
I don't fuck. This is pure. I don't know. God damn. I don't know. At some point in the road to WrestleMania, when Kevin Owens doesn't have a match for Mania, and he's looking around like, "Who the fuck am I gonna work, Grayson Waller?" And he's like, "No, call Phil, or whatever the fuck."
Man, need a hooper. What's next for CM Punk and when?
He's getting ready to wrestle the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania.
Instead of Cody.
So Cody Rhodes?
Imagine, not Cody, not Rock. Let's get
CM Punk versus
Roman.
The poise, the way Manny delivered that was so matter of fact.
He was so confident and serious. He's just it's going to be Roman.
Isn't it obvious? The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns,
It's like,
Hobart.
Why would he come in not to like? I mean, why would he come in to wrestle Cody or like Seth Rollins when he could just wrestle the top guy?
I'm still. My initial response to this when he left AEW was there'll be some kind of video game deal that inadvertently sets all this up, and I still think that will happen. Whether he works WrestleMania or not, I'm not sure. The thing is, you mentioned it. It's a move in their back pocket, right? It's like,
yes.
If a couple of those baby faces drop off, or if someone gets hurt, it's like, well, fuck, we can bring CM Punk back. And for them, because of the way that it's perceived, that story is perceived, there's not really a time limit on that. Because CM Punk going back to WWE will be a big deal regardless of when it happens, as long as he can still step through the ropes and wrestle. So, I think it happens in the next year. It's pretty clear they're not in a rush. And why would they be? Right? They're rolling. So I think it will come together in some form or fashion.
The other thing I just want to reiterate, because this was I haven't said this in a few weeks, is a couple years ago, WWE would make these kind of panic and rush moves to get a guy in to just kind of like sustain the television for a few months or sell some tickets or things of that nature. And they would make these moves with no regard of how it would make the talent feel. So, for example, a couple of the later returns of Goldberg didn't go over great within the roster. In fact, the morale would just continually get lower. Bill's a really nice guy, to be honest, but by all accounts, but it was just seen by the talent as just like, man, we really are like nobody. Like we just don't matter. We never will matter. We are in our spots. And when they need a guy to fill a top spot, instead of picking from amongst us, they will just call Bill Goldberg or somebody else. And that's how it was seen. And Vince knew that, and he didn't give a fuck, right? And I draw this comparison because I can tell you this. The opinions of the I'm talking key top names on like the Raw roster for specifically, right? Their opinions are 100% valued and weighed in when it came to deciding as to whether we bring in CM Punk right now. All their opinions were 100% taken into account. And who are those specific people? I can't, fully confirm that. I'm not at liberty to, but I can tell you this. A lot of the sentiment is we're doing fine. We're selling out buildings. So
it's a different culture right now, man. It's a hard point to make while Roman is doing what Roman's doing, which is like showing up once a quarter. God bless him. But beyond that, there is definitely a camaraderie of like, these guys feel like they're making their own era for the first time in a long time, right? It feels like the show is about them. And again, I understand that Roman kind of pokes a hole in that, but if you look beyond that, you can see it, right? Cody's he's hitting those towns every week, and look at the Judgment Day, my goodness. So it's definitely a different vibe for sure.
All right, going to dive into some super chats, and Matt Hennessy, going to let him jump. He's going to jump the queue here because he sent us $59.99 euros. Appreciate you very, very, very much.
What's that in USD, brother? What's that in USD?
I don't know about.
Pull out the converter. Hold up.
I don't know, bro. What the fuck? Anyway,
we're not paying Manny for this date, right? We're not
absolutely
Matt,
not.
Anyway, Matt, €59.99. Appreciate you. Don't get why people, mainly haters, give SRS a hard time, despite the fact Fightful are the most accurate news site for wrestling. Then BWE, who have a questionable, I think that's meant to say, who have a questionable track record, put out a report, and all the haters believe them. There definitely is like some sort of like correlation between like people who are, putting over Boozer under all his tweets, because he has a fascinating following, man. Like, he's on private, and you can tell that he's trying to build like his own little community and stuff, and like he's going back and forth with his followers. He's really responsive and stuff. And like I said, he's trying to create like his own little community. But brother, he's got some ride or dies on that following list, let me tell you.
Bro, people got so mad at me for just
man.
I just asked Booster, like, why are you telling people this thing that didn't happen? And
they want the story to be true. It's the same as when Houseman a couple of weeks ago had one that was like, NXT has no plans for Brian Pillman Jr. and everyone was victory lap, and it's like, Houseman is like everyone usually is it's Houseman, it's just, if you want to believe the story, they will believe the story. That's that. We all do this,
people are selective in like how legitimate a guy is. Keller some weeks is like full of shit, and other weeks, Keller knows everything about this.
Bro, Dave, every other day,
Dave,
fuck, it's Meltzer. So
we all do it. Like, even when you do it subconsciously, we all do it, right? Like you'll read some punk shit, be like, well, hold on. Them board members better get ready for this meeting, brother.
I do that with Keller.
I've learned
yes,
I've learned, Joe, what to pick from people depending on like what it's about, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes like
media literacy, people.
Media literacy is important. Regarding this Boozer thing, all I gotta say is just look, the people that follow him are WWE fans that want good news at all times, right? And so they want to be optimistic about the product, so they'll hit him up. Hey, Boozer, man, are there still plans for Karrion Kross, man? And they'll be like, soon. And they're like, let's go, hell yeah, Boozer, yeah. And it's like, okay, I get it, but at the end of the day, in regards to this, like, a lot of the lashing out is because the CM Punk news hasn't been that positive from most of the journalists when it comes to him at Survivor Series, and the only person that's continuing to sell them hope is Mr. Boozer Wrestling. And look, I'll tell you what, bro, I'd love it if he was the one guy that was right about all this. I'll happily get jumped by all the WWE fans who were like, oh, you see, you're fucking lying back of Hangman. Because guess what? I'm going to be celebrating with them when I see Cult of Personality on the television screen. But it doesn't appear to be the case, and they're not reacting well to that. And some of that hit me. It's hit Sean Ross Sapp. It's hit people way above my pay grade that are in the industry. So just kind of how these things go.
Oh, but yeah, BWE, Boozer Wrestling. He's got a strong army, brother. He's got a strong army. They some of them live and die on just what he says. Oh yeah, we don't need Fightful, we don't need Dave, we don't need PWE inside that. We got BWE, which is always a dangerous game to play when you're trying to be media literate. Anyway, appreciate you anyway, Matt.
Hey, listen, the guy will tell you what's going on Raw. You know what I mean? If you want to know what's happening on Raw, the nigga will tell you. if it's 4 PM and you're looking around like, does anyone have a scoop on Raw? Hit that bull. That man will be like, big.
I wish I could. I didn't know I was blocked.
Big judgment they build tonight. You know, he'll let you know.
So, man, he gets blocked by everyone. It's nothing new. But anyway,
he's a piece of shit.
True.
Well, I mean, I didn't do anything to this piece of shit.
True.
Bob the Builder, $5 Canadian. My guess on the CM Punk thing is he won't return at Survivor Series, but he will eventually make his way back to WWE next year. What you say, guys? Yeah, I think. We just talked about it. We're in that boat as well, Bob. Collision Cowboy, $2 Canadian. Appreciate it. Ibu is BWE Boozer on Fraud Watch. Bro, he's putting his legacy on the line here.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, Nick Hausman, myself now, not that I'm on these people's levels in the journalism game, but we've all come out with just information that all suggests and point to CM Punk not being at Survivor Series. And he's confidently suggesting the contrary. So look, man, it's up to him now to explain himself if and when this just doesn't come to pass. He's probably going to do what Zero News has done in the past, which is just, they couldn't fit it in on the show, or they decided now is just not the time for it. But that doesn't mean it's over, guys, and that type of deal. And some people will buy it, and some people will see through that. So,
Globe Wrestling 499, appreciate it. Ibu, if CM Punk doesn't return at Survivor Series, could there still be a chance we won't see him at Royal Rumble?
Of course.
Zayd, 91.99, appreciate you. Cody and Sami should walk out of WrestleMania 40 as champions.
I would love to see Sami Zayn win a world title. He cut the promo a few weeks ago on Raw saying that he's a world champion level wrestler. The only thing is, I'd like to see him beat a guy like Gunther for it, but I don't think there's enough time for Gunther to win the belt, have a proper reign, and then drop it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the problem there.
To heat. Yeah, it's not even to heat him up. It's just to make the situation fit.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like Gunther would have to be champion. Ideally he would be a dominant champion. Do you know what I mean? So. Mm-hmm. Like Gunther don't have.
Pull it off though. You could pull it off.
Absolutely.
If Gunther's losing this thing in the next couple of weeks, you could turn around and put the other belt on him like right away. I think. I almost would recommend doing that. In fact, at this point,
right? Joe, you think I'm protesting a freaking dropping to Gunther and then facing Sami at a WrestleMania? That's
absolutely not.
That's real shit right there.
That's the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Callum 17x £2. Appreciate you. Ibu own that fraud Boozer. It's getting dangerous now, people. Yeah, we don't want what Boozer's got in his, in his replies where he's got like the army of like, oh fuck Ibu and Sean Ross Sapp is like.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, look, I don't know this motherfucker, So like, I'm just asking him why he's telling his base to CM Punk is coming in. Why are you doing that?
I tweeted it on my personal account earlier. It's like, honestly, like he's a pretty decent follower. Like he does like the Raw breakdowns and SmackDown, like the TV breakdowns. So he's pretty good with those, pretty accurate. But there has been multiple instances where he has been just flat out wrong. And obviously, even as recent as today, obviously, like I know, obviously better than the listeners and that. Like I know that Ibu is very, very well connected when it comes to like this particular story. Sean Ross Sapp actually tweeted the same thing when Ibu kind of shot it down. Like Ibu is well connected on this one,
Bro.
So yeah,
when people are hitting me with the like. What, are you just guessing or trust me, bro? Is that your source? Like the funniest one was someone quoted me, Joe, where in the first sentence I said like the source is someone close to Punk's camp, and someone said, state your source. I was like, read. Fucking read.
Yeah. Anyway, no hate on Boozer. He's just as far as we've been able to figure out, what he put out earlier isn't entirely correct, Anyway, we'll choose on $4. Appreciate it. Triple H is nasty trying to build a Japanese women's faction. Vince is throwing up, pal.
Yeah, he is trying to do that. He's trying to build a Joshi faction, a 4-person one. Hopefully that's for an elimination tag at Survivor Series and not a War Games. That would be nice. Did you see, Joe, that the Reddit user Kermit said that?
For fuck's sakes. Who now? What?
You don't know the legend of Kermit, Joe?
No, I don't. Explain.
He's a prolific, legendary leaker. He's the only person to just emphatically state the day of WrestleMania that Roman is beating Cody. And
Respect
he's like,
in that case. Okay, tell me, what did he say then?
Yeah, so Big Kermit was just kind of like, 2 more people to Io and Kyrie. One of them is an old friend, and one of them is someone you never expect. And so people were like, "Oh, Mercedes? What's going on here? Oh, what's happening?" And Sean Ross Sapp, they asked him, and he was like, "I don't know, probably like Asuka and Suri." So yeah, look, I can tell you guys this: I don't know who the fuck these people are going to be. I don't know what the plan is.
Sean Ross Sapp also put out as well, but Suri is someone that WWE is actively trying to bring back. So
the reactions to that have been really funny and entertaining, I gotta say.
And Joshi fans and just wrestling fans in general always kind of feel a certain way in recent years when WWE signed any sort of Japanese talent. So
I gotta say, I do feel for him because it seems like she's been having a really good run here. And I just saw people tweeting about her match like this morning and shit. And then that report comes in, and for them, it's like, oh, fuck, can we have anything? Can we have anything? There's a lot of people like that on my timeline. They don't care about American wrestling. They want to watch their stuff. And then this person just gets plucked from them. And it's like, fuck. So I do feel for them, to be honest with you. But no, what I was going to say is that, Monty, as I told our audience a few days ago, Triple H is really trying to dispel the notion that Joshis and Japanese wrestlers in general and luchadors can't work and make it in WWE. If you remember, I told you, his thing is he has a massive chip on his shoulder that the mentality is, they don't know how to do luchadors. They don't know how to use Japanese guys. And so he's really driven to reverse this. And they got the Ibima deal. And tomorrow night on Raw, Akira Tozawa is going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura. So...
Two cooked guys going at each other, man. That's fucking crazy.
No, Tozawa's still right.
Tozawa's still good. He's just been, he's not exactly been protected on TV,
Could you imagine, the Levesque special? They're like, fuck it, let him go through a break. Let it go 12
All right,
minutes.
Anyway, we're getting carried away.
Imagine that's the representation you want of Japanese men's wrestling, just those 2 guys out there.
All right. Anyway. Getting carried away with Super Chat, spending too long on them. They're building up. Willie, 499, appreciate you. Cena Solo was the first live match I've watched since All In. 8.5 out of 10. Almost perfect. The only thing missing was the 3-minute nerve hold, unfortunately. Brother, looking forward to reviewing that one, which we will be doing very shortly. I'm going to review Crown Jewel first after we get through these Super Chats. And I spoke about Punk. And J Blood 499, appreciate it. Does AEW even know who the devil is? I'd assume, maybe.
You know what, guys? J Blood, I will have an answer for you by tomorrow.
All right. WrestlePurist Worldwide people, tap in. But the bill, the $2 Canadian, appreciate it. Wonder what Triple H feels about Punk now.
He does not express this view publicly, whatever that view is.
Mauricio Pochettino, $5. Appreciate you, boss. Monty, I sent Mr. Tony Khan a box of lemons. Hopefully the booking turns around. Come on, you Spurs. Come on. But the builder, $2 Canadian. Rollins wants to work with Punk. Yeah, he probably does, bro. It wouldn't surprise me.
God.
He really... I can tell you guys what he wants his WrestleMania match to be. He really badly, and this is not going to surprise us.
Rollins or Seth? Oh,
that's the same guy. It's the same guy, Manny. Again,
Rollins or Punk?
Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wants to wrestle Will Ospreay at WrestleMania.
The water's warm, brother.
Bro's going to want to go 50 minutes on WrestleMania Night 1.
You know what would actually kind of piss me off is if that happened and like Will, because Cody did this when he worked him. If Will was like on the podium and he's like, I gotta fucking say, bruv, after being in the ring with him for 40 minutes, bruv, Seth Rollins is one of the greatest workers in the ring, bruv. He's one of the best in the world, bruv. Cody worked Seth and called him top 5 in the world.
Well, Cody's, I mean, it's Cody now anyway. That's why Cody rules. He's
I was
Cody.
like, what are you talking about? You worked Kenny Omega.
I don't know, man.
Listen,
Oh boy.
Code man. There's more codes on. Anyway. Hush. That one always shoots me. $1.99 anyway. Appreciate it. What does Punk side think of the teases from WWE?
He doesn't get it.
They're not even like good teases. You know what I mean? But anyway.
like the response has been like, why?
Globe Wrestling $1.99. Appreciate it. What is Endeavor's current stance on Punk's return?
I don't know.
I guess it's just, you know, as far as like it getting up to that high of a level, like Ari Emanuel and those sort of guys, it's kind of like, well, you wouldn't expect it to get to that unless it was actually like coming in imminently, you know.
You know what's the real problem with some of the lower, or just the the Twittery scoopsters, is they feel they need to have an answer for everything. Like just right there, they asked you this question, and what did I just say to you? I said, I don't fucking know. I feel like these guys who have to be these all-knowing swamis on their private accounts. Hey, whatever wrestling.
I love him.
What's going on with Tegan Knox? Big things, man. Stay tuned. You can just say, I don't know. You know, you don't gotta.
Yeah, or you can just like guess. You know, like I don't know, but I assume X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean, or whatever.
They feel like they have to be the guy that has the answers to everything, even when like, you know, a Sean or a Mike Johnson does not. So.
Hush again, $4.99. Appreciate it. Also on WWE, so wouldn't they want Punk because they use him as leverage for Raw's new TV deal, or is his baggage not worth it for WWE? So, in terms of it, like the thing is, like when you look at it from that sense, it's like how much when WWE is as hot as it is, and it's basically selling out every TV anyway. It's like how much hotter does CM Punk make them in a broad sense? You know,
Yeah.
It's like. Okay, you've got another great merchandise selling. You've got just another great top guy. I'm sure his return and his first Raw promo, if he shows up on a pay-per-view, he'll pop a number. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but it's not like he's going to jump him up from, 1.7 million to 2.1 million. Like, he's not going to do that sort of business.
Raw as a property is also so established. It's like,
yeah,
even when the numbers are up and down, it's still Raw. You know, they're gonna be okay without Punk on that front.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Big business, brother. About the builder, thought I was Canadian. I find it harder to believe top talent don't want to work with Punk.
I mean, it's not a uniform thing. It's like there's people in WWE who are like, I don't give a fuck. Let him come wrestle. Drew McIntyre's. I'll name names. Drew McIntyre has no problem working with CM Punk. Prince Devitt, Friggle has no problem working with CM Punk. You start going.
That was when you knew Velveteen was a problem. It was when Finn was like, hold on.
He called him. He said he called him garbage to his face, and he didn't want to work with him. And then when they said he had to, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna just shit on him every chance I get, and you're not gonna be able to stop me." So that's kind of the deal there. But yeah, look, to Bob's question, like, dude, there are absolutely people in WWE who are like, yeah, like people who are just like, I don't have a fucking problem with Phil. Like it's gonna be like that. But it's just there are some people there who feel we have a good thing going. He may disrupt this. The fact that the answer that we're not sure if he will or will not makes me uncomfortable, and so hopefully he doesn't come. And then there's other people who have some heat with him, including people who literally sit in Gorilla. And as I named before, Brian James is not fond of Phil Brooks, and he will not be the be-all, end-all guy to stop this deal. But it's just an example of a name that, like, certain people that, you're going to have to smooth things over with just to make life in the company easier for yourself. William Regal, not on great terms with CM Punk. So,
What was he wrong?
That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying he's just not on good terms with CM Punk.
Mulches and $5. Appreciate it. Dave was the only one who said Mercedes Renee's not showing up at AEW that time, and people was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, I remember. I remember.
That was crazy.
January.
That was Dave's last stand, honestly.
Yeah, bro. I remember being on podcasts with. I can't even remember if it was you guys or whoever, and people we was doing podcasts with. It was just like, oh, no, I think Dave's off on this one, you know. And,
yeah,
bro, Dave. I was like, bro, Dave sounds so confident in this that I'm with Dave on this one, you know, like,
bro.
Because everyone was like, because I said in the weeks prior to like the Mercedes, you know, Mercedes gate in January, I was just kind of like, people are saying, you know, there's this and there's that, but nowhere's actually came out with anything like concrete. Like Mercedes is in solid contract talks with AEW. Like nothing like that came out, you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously there was the famous Will Washington 99% sure it's happening tweet or whatever it was. This was before he had became All Elite himself. And yeah, it felt like it would have been right for her to show up on that show, but there weren't any actual solid reporting behind whether or not she would, other than Dave saying she's definitely not showing up there. So,
bro, I was on those pods like, this is it for Dave. I guess he's just fucked. I don't know, you know. And then I'm watching the show and my heart is beating during the women's match, and then it just ends and we keep going. I'm like, no way, no fucking way.
Yeah.
I was like. Oh my goodness!
Wasn't Dave the one that said that that Mercedes was gonna wrestle Miyu when she came back, and now she's not? Because now he's saying that there's no plans at all.
It's a Julia.
She was supposed to face Julia. Right now, it seems like both
sides.
There's
no current dates booked apparently.
Yeah,
sounds a little spooky.
It does sound a little spooky, Joe. I can't lie to you. People were connecting that with the Kermit, you know, Twitter, you know, Reddit Kermit.
Yes,
you know?
Kermit. Yes.
People were doing the whole. No dates. What's going on here? She's not holding a belt. And then Kermit, and it led to a lot of like line connecting, and people are like, what if Bailey's abandoned by the Joshis? But you know, when she has no one to turn to, the boss Sasha Banks has her side. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. It would be deeply funny if it did, purely for the reaction. Hopefully, Mercedes continues her run with the Joshi scene, but we shall see what happens there. Monty.
That was a spiteful laugh.
Anyway, Hush 199. Is AEW and Punk's relationship forever severed? Oh, it's wrestling, bro.
It's wrestling.
Look, man, Tony Khan's scared for his life. I mean, what do you want from the guy?
Bret Hart punched Vince McMahon in the face.
He did.
True.
or as Bret says,
fact check it, people.
Yeah, true.
Or as Bret says, it seems my fist ran into Vince's face. You know, so
anyway. Showtime Spurs $12. Appreciate you as always. Why do I feel like the right just with Archer is going to work? I think I was just hypnotized by Jake talking over their theme.
That was so
quite the visual. That was quite the visual. Matt Hennessy.
Go ahead. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, no, we can get to this shit, bro. Every chance, you know. Anyway, Matt Hennessy, €5.99. Appreciate it. We should be talking about the big news in the wrestling world, the great feud between WrestleVotes and PW Insider. That's what I want to say. Brother, we talked about that a lot earlier in the week. We got quite a few pops out of that. WrestleVotes seem to have won that one, though. You know, PW Insider conceded later in the day. But they tried to frame it as like, when we first put the original report out, that was debunking WrestleVotes. You know, she wasn't, Kyrie I'm talking about, wasn't on the internal roster. And now she is. But it seemed like WrestleVotes was right all along, you know, on that one. But either way, Kyrie's here now. Hush, 199. If you get the scoop on Randall, he's killing us, man.
Yeah, I thought this was a Randy Orton Randall. No, he's talking about Julius Randall. He's off to the worst 5-game start shooting wise in Knicks history, I believe. His shooting percentage, like splits look like tour dates. Like it's like 5 for 14, 6 for 20. It's abysmal. And Monty, I don't know if I don't know if footballers do this. But Randall's playing so bad now that he's doing this social media trick where he starts posting him with his kids and posting him with his family. Because when you get buried by the fans, you start kind of doing this thing where you change the narrative and make them go, "Come on, guys, he's a family man. Come on, guys." So he's doing that thing. He fucking stinks, and the Knicks are off to a start that's not promising.
Bro, they do that show at Westbrook, and it annoys me. I don't give a fuck about his family. He just sucks at basketball sometimes.
Man. You can tell who's new in the chat, can't you? Look at
What happened?
He is a hater, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
You have been known for that, Ibu. You know, I have to say you do need to tone it down a bit. You know,
I'll send him punk clips and he'll lash out. He's kind of a dick sometimes. It is what it is.
Maribel, I assume you're new here, brother. Come on, you know that's what I have to say. So
I think I saw Maribel say earlier something along the lines like, "Why would they tell you?" And then here's the thing about it, folks. Give
them your credentials.
I don't need to do that, but
Jesus.
I don't need to do that. But what I will say is that WWE leaks all their surprises. I got to be honest with you. They leak everything, even if they don't on record do that. Because look, they tell Sean things, you know, because it's good for them. But they will I can tell you this right now. I'm sitting on like numerous off record upcoming surprises for the WWE programming, WWE and AEW. So that's just kind of how this stuff works.
Also, as well, to like people who say that, it's like, oh, what would they tell you? And the people have said it with Sean as well. It's like, oh, what would anyone tell you? And it's like, here's the thing. I've knowing of like, you know, having an idea of like how connected Ibu is to certain things. Like he's not connected to every single story that could possibly happen in wrestling, but there is certain things that he's he's connected pretty well with. And it's a thing of like, in the past, over knowing, like, after seeing what Ibu can find out and what he asks about and what he can find out information on, there is certain things, like, they don't tell him everything that he asks. Sometimes he just gets no-sold. Like, there was an instance like last week where I asked Ibu to ask something that we'd been heard, but I've heard some rumblings about. And when he asked the people higher up in the company, they no-sold him. They just carried on the conversation like nothing was happening, you know?
Yes, this is very common. If they don't want to tell you something, they'll just not say it.
Yeah, they just no-sell it. They just either they no-sell it, or they get cryptic, or they get like a little bit quiet about it, or they just get a little bit blunt or whatever about it. Like, this is kind of the usual playbook when it comes to those things. But if they're like going to outward deny it, you know, it's it's a different thing. Like, for example, like earlier today, Ibu reached out to people like very close to Punk's side and was, asked the question. And if it was true, my assumption, judging off the experience I know from seeing Ibu interact with sources, that he would have got no-sold. Instead, he got flat out denied. Same thing with Sean. It's not like these reporters and sources are getting getting cryptic or weird or anything like that, which usually hints at something.
It's almost like it's like a code in a culture. You're not supposed to lie to the sheets, because once you do it, the relationship is severed, and then you, as the person who is, the talent or whatever, can no longer use the media to your advantage, which all these people do when they
dangerous game, bro.
That's the game. And so
it's a dangerous game, because it's like Sean spoke about this before on the live stream. It's like, if you're talking to someone, let's say, for example, because everyone knows what this is, obviously, say I'm talking to Triple H after every show, and he's tweeting me like, oh yeah, we killed it in this show, and we've got this planned, and we've got this planned, and oh no, fuck CM Punk, I think he's a massive prick, and he's slagging off wrestlers to me, and we're just talking graps, you get me? But then say if I ask him something one day, like, say if I asked him earlier in the week, is Corey Sane coming back? And he's like, nah, bro, trust me, like, she's definitely not coming back, blah, 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 blah. And he, like, deliberately, knowingly works me and kills that, like, relationship. Then I can just go out and just say everything he's just fucking told me about everyone,
Exactly.
And again, from knowing kind of Ibu's relationship with some of these people, sort of, that would be a dangerous game for some of these people to play. So, same with Sean, I'm sure it is. There's a lot of off-the-record stuff that probably will never get out, But, it's like I said, I'm not expecting WWE and Punk or anyone to be like, yo, guess what's happening? I'm coming back at Survivor Series, but you can kind of gauge from the response you get when you reach out to these sources and people.
100%, Monty. They wouldn't. WWE reaching out to Sean Ross Sapp to throw cold water on the CM Punk thing is because they want Sean to report that it's not happening. And you'd presume they do that because they don't want people hijacking their pay-per-view with CM Punk chants, and that's why they wanted to jump out in front of it. And as Sean reported himself, Paul Levesque was prepared to be asked about CM Punk at the conference, and he was going to give his PR version of, not for now, and they didn't ask him that because they were too busy asking about Taylor Swift, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, there you go.
What is Marable talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to kick him out the chat now because he's just being unbearable, people. It's like you can get you. It's all about making a point. But come on, don't be annoying about
Don
it.
Kakong wrote, "Ibu has no sources, but MJF will call him on stream."
Yeah, like randomly. So not even the interview one, like just randomly in an episode of fucking. I can't remember Dynamite review, but anyway, that's just MJF. You know what I mean? That's one of many. Anyway, I've said that a lot. Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
When's that happening?
WWE pay-per-view took place in Saudi Arabia last night. It's their big money show. WWE get paid very, very handsomely for flying over to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I think Brandon Thurston has revealed many times over the course of the deal. I think they get like $50 million a show, which is like absurd, But yeah, they're out there, Saudi Arabia again.
Did you see Dave go off when he did it on Twitter, but he also did it on the radio when he just went off on the idea that like WWE's doing this for the fans. He was like, "No, they're just getting fucking paid." He was like, "They're getting fucking paid. Like, what are we talking about?" So. Yeah.
I think Manny's gone to tend to his dog. God bless. All right. Saudi Arabia Crown Jewel 2023 opened up with Seth. Well, let's talk about the pre-show. Let's talk about kickoff. They're doing kickoff show. They're doing a match on the kickoff show, which has not been the regular recently. But we got a little match here. We got Sami Zayn, his second match in Saudi Arabia, this time against JD McDonough on the kickoff show. Mm-hmm. This was a nice little match to get the crowd going. Crowd absolutely adored Sami Zayn, which was like really cool to see. And nice start to the show. Anyone got anything to add?
This was the fifth best match of the show.
It was his best.
It was just Zayn, going house show mode with a geek, and the fans were super into it. And the guy bumped all over the place, in some ways a bit comically, and then Sammy just won. Yeah. And
just to kind of touch on the JD's bumping being a bit comical, it feels like he's trying to like bump like Ziggler, but he hasn't quite got it yet.
Yeah, that bump was a like direct Kurt Hennig bump, and it was.
He's got the idea, but the execution ain't quite perfect.
I love Kurt Hennig. He would be. I mean, he kind of, even with him, it became a little bit of like a bit within itself. It's like, oh, here he goes again. And that's Kurt Hennig. Because I don't need to see JD McDonough out there doing it in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I can tell you guys, he was instructed basically, they're going to love Sammy tonight. Go house show mode with this. Give the fans what they want. Bump your ass off for the guy. Make the people happy. And his idea for that instruction was, oh, so I got to go for Kurt Hennig, huh? And then, he did what he did. So that was a pretty bad impression, but what are you going to do?
No, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Probably be off screen for most of this. I didn't see this. I didn't even finish watching the Roman match.
No one's surprised, man. You don't watch anything anymore.
It was funny because one of the last tweets I tweeted was lock in, sit down, and all that. And then I tweeted that after I got home from work, and then I was laying in bed watching it. And I fell asleep, and then I woke up with my phone on my chest and in the middle of a tweet, and I said, fuck this, bro. I'm done watching this.
Man, he's so cooked.
He's cooked, bro. Why? We just have him for the vibes,
It's like he's like Guillermo in the Jimmy Kimmel show. He just hangs out,
Wouldn't have him any other way either of Wrestle Purist. Anyway,
once again, he's not getting paid for the state, right? Like we're not.
Don't you worry about that.
I was gonna say,
don't worry. He's
on camera, All right. Main show kicks off with Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. I thought this was really good. I thought this was genuinely Seth's best match in a hot minute, man. In a hot minute.
You should sing a song in his honor.
Absolutely not.
Right.
The Saudi crowd were very, very behind Drew McIntyre here. Seth Rollins did have his fans there, but there were clearly the majority of the crowd was behind Drew. They wanted to see it happening. They wanted to see the total change. But I think through the work of the match, it didn't lead to Seth getting booed out of the building when he won. You know what I mean? Really good closing stretch. I really liked the Phoenix Splash attempt into the Claymore for the near fall. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, nice performance. Drew looked great here, and I think Drew looked even better when he wrestled with a heel edge to him, which he didn't need to here. So, like, even though he looked very good here, I still think he has, like, a level to go to, you know, which is, I'm very optimistic, as everyone knows who watches these shows, about Drew McIntyre's eventual heel turn. So, yeah, disappointed we didn't get a heel turn or a total change here, but, you know, that heel turn's got to be, like, tomorrow. You know, it's got to be like if it wasn't last night, I think it needs to be tomorrow. But yeah, what did you guys think of the match, Ibu?
I was into this. The crowd was super, super into this opener. I went back to like watch a clip of it, and like I forgot how heated it was. It was like heated as fuck. This is exactly what I expected, to be honest with you. I expected this to be one of the matches on the show that's like really good. And Seth Rollins is one of those guys where with certain types of wrestlers, you can have a WWE style like main event, you know, and he's good at working that style, you know. With certain guys, it's kind of iffy. What I took note of was especially for his standards, I thought he kind of laid in some of his strikes a bit more than he normally does. Like his elbow strikes were connected pretty good. He did a tope that was a rare non-push tope, where he has the hands out. He just kind of did it, a little, you know, slight elbow suicida. Drew McIntyre is awesome. You know, Drew McIntyre I thought was really good here. And there's another level to get to, like you said, when it comes to the heel edge. So I thought this escalated well. You know, you had some nice physicality here. The crowd was super into it. And then the closing stretch, the near falls was all really strong. I actually slightly bit on a few of the stuff towards the end. So, you know, I'm going to watch this back so I know what exactly to rate it for the spreadsheet. But I thought this was borderline great, to be honest with you. And to your point, Monty, this is easily his best title defense. Like it's in a different league than the Nakamura matches, and it's better than the Finn Balor matches. So because those didn't get interesting until like the smoke and mirrors, whereas this I just liked the wrestling. So this is a really strong opener.
Yeah, good stuff. A few people in the chat have brought up how the cameraman at WWE missed Drew McIntyre doing Cristiano Ronaldo's goal celebration. Yeah, that was pretty brutal, you know.
What do you think, Bing Bong?
Yeah, man.
I liked it a lot. I mean, I think we're actually all in pretty similar spots for this. It was really good. Drew his work's always great, and he was terrific here. But he's also like the most interesting he's probably ever been, if we're being real, right? Like it's actually compelling, his art. Like, we talked about a little bit off air last week. Like it's interesting, man. Like I think he's actually sympathetic, but he's also losing his mind a little bit with it, and it's good stuff. One thing, and I know we have a lot of fun with the Seth, but like, legitimately, I just wish his stuff was like a little bit more crisp, you know? It's loosened up a lot. It's something you notice on these shows across the board when the crowds aren't super engaged. In this match, they were, to be clear. But in the middle of this show, you saw it, right? Like, this roster's getting so used to working full houses that are rocking. Mm-hmm. You actually notice it. Like, when the crowd's down, you notice the work is a little loose. We talked about it on the Fastlane review with the Jay and Cody tag. So it stood out here with Seth for me a little bit. Drew, on the other hand, was like, he seemed super motivated to prove a point, and I thought he did. But they both had good performances. I thought it was a really good match. I liked it a lot.
You make a good point there about
Seth. I think about Seth, it's just he's a good wrestler, and he knows how to kind of structure his matches and stuff like that. Of course, he does. That's why he's in the position he is, and that's why he's one of the top stars in the business, and that's why he's currently the world champion. Do you know what I mean? Like it's Seth fucking Rollins, you know. But to Joe's point, he's like his stuff does lack a bit of snap. You know, yeah. Like
look, his schedule is crazy, bro. I mean, I get it, you know.
I think he was sharper. You know what else I noticed when I'm just looking at him, and he's like heavier than he used to be, you know. And I noticed also because like it feels like as he's hitting the ropes, he's carrying more weight, and I chuckled watching it, and I was like, man, because I remember when he was like a lean kid.
I can relate.
Yeah, you know, it'd be like that. I remember when he's a lean kid, you know, just with a really sharp enziguri, and he's hitting the ropes with burst and explosiveness and stuff. And so that's gone a bit. And with that, I think is just a bit of the snap. But to Joe's point, they have a crazy house show schedule, and so for him, forging a style for himself that still gets over, that he can just sustain is, more power to him, I guess. This was the good version of a Seth Rollins match, and I'd much prefer this than again the stuff he was doing with Nakamura did absolutely nothing for me. And I think so much so that it reflected poorly on him. Like people were starting to use those matches as a referendum on his title run. And even though I didn't like the matches either, I thought it was mostly just because he just didn't have an opponent that he clicked with. And I knew that once he faced Drew McIntyre that like you'd get better stuff. And he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good opener. Very, very, very good opener. What was next? Was it the 5-way?
The women's 5-way.
Yeah, it was a 5-way.
So we had Rhea Ripley passed by Drew McIntyre, and essentially the gist of the whole thing was her basically going, "I told you so," and the opposite.
Yeah. So Drew McIntyre in Judgment Day. You heard it here first. Anyway, 5-way for the women's world title. Rhea Ripley successfully defends versus Shayna Baszler, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, and Zoe Stark. There was a very funny viral moment when Zoe Stark went to do the dive from the outside and the cameraman just drops. God bless. There was a scary moment when Nia Jax had to, someone bumped her off the top rope and she kind of slipped and almost landed on her neck. It looked awesome because she didn't land on her neck, you know, so it looked awesome in the end. But yeah, man, I didn't think this was terrible. Which I knew was I know a lot of people absolutely thought it was a possibility when going into this. I didn't think this was terrible. I didn't think this was great. I thought Rhea's presentation was she has so much presence and just so much star power, tangible star power, you know. Rhea looked great in this. She came off great. Don't think any of the women made a bad account of themselves. Joe?
Yeah, it came out okay, mate. I mean, I think Rhea is her work almost, it comes up secondary to how much we talk about her star presence and her charisma. But her work was so sharp in this. The way she was bumping for things that frankly didn't deserve the bump she was taking at times.
The Z360.
Yeah. You'd get these kind of soft kicks and drop kicks and things like that. And she was just flat back, you know.
I think if I was to be critical, I would say it would have been nice if they left this with a match that you really wanted to see, a singles match. You know, if they sold you on a Zoe Stark match or whatever it may be. I don't know what way they're going to go direction-wise. But I think it's, you know, we talked about it on Friday. There's a lot worse versions of this match. It came out pretty well, all things considered. It is clear, just you can tell from the agent, and they're going to be pretty, you know, Nia's role in this match was pretty limited, right? I think they're probably going to try and figure out a different role for, I think, moving forward. So it came out okay. I mean, Rhea Ripley, I would like to see having big-time singles matches, and they've been few and far between, unfortunately. But I hope that changes soon.
Yeah, man.
Folks, is this a safe space, folks?
It's as safe as it's going to get in this.
In
this world, mate?
Can I confess something, everybody? Wrestle Purist audience, Wrestle Purist Worldwide Galaxy in the comments. Can we just keep this here, folks? Can we just not, you know?
I think I know where this is going.
So do I. Yeah.
Can we just keep this here and just understand where I'm coming from here and just kind of leave me to this one, guys. I'm not saying this individual is particularly good, but Nia Jax kind of rules. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It is what it is. She's not a particularly good.
We need more monsters in the women's division, brother.
She's not a particularly good promo. She's not
particularly good.
She's not a particularly good wrestler.
We should be fair to her, but we're kind of to blame for this, Monty.
But she kind of.
Why do you think I put my fist?
She kind of rocks. I'm so sorry, guys.
Me and Hulbert sold him on it. Yeah.
Listen. Let's keep this in the chat, folks. This is our community here. You know, it's just us in here, all 232 of us. But look, one pickle juice sports.
Real.
Look, man, she's big in it. You know, she's big and
big, mean. She's not like most girls.
She's not like most girls. When you slam her, it has some real impact. You know, it makes people look real powerful when they get her up for something. The crowd gets into it. She gets a lot of heat because people fucking hate her. You know, she kind of has that like, can someone just kill this motherfucker vibe to her a little bit. That's why when she's cutting that, god awful, dreadful promo on TV a few weeks ago, and she's doing a really, really weird Texas accent, Raquel just elbowed her in her face and it got a pop.
She also once broke into a shoot fight in the middle of a Raw match, which is the coolest thing any wrestler's ever done.
She had a match with Charlotte where she just started fighting her for real. Listen. She does the sit down thing that Yokozuna does. What's that? The bonsai drop. She does the bonsai. And you know what? She's not 93 Yoko, folks. She's not 94, not even 95.
Nope.
But she's 96 Yoko. And is 96 Yoko good? No. But does he rule? Yes. Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's like, she's not good. Like, she just kind of rule, you know. She's not like most girls, people. You know?
I'll put it to you this way. Joe, if they drop the graphic, and this is shameless, I'll admit it. If they drop a graphic on Monday, it's official Survivor Series. Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax. Listen to me. Triple H is a freak.
Rhea's gonna that power bomb from Rhea.
Here's the thing. Triple H is a freak that likes all his matches on pay-per-view to go 18 minutes. I would never recommend they go 18. But if Paul Lee put that thing together and he built it around Nia's fucking bonsai drop, and they had her
Hold on. Get it right.
The Annihilator. Sorry, Zoe. The Annihilator. But here's the thing. If Nia Jax crushed the larynx of Zoe Stark with an Annihilator on 1 week.
Stop trying to actually sell it to these people, man.
Listen, folks.
We picked the wrong match to do this on, man. We should have waited until
oh man,
tag league match.
Nia Jax,
a tight I will say on pay-per-view.
I will say about Nia Jax when she would get up to do the Annihilator in the corner, because she went to do it like 2-3 times and it didn't land either time. I need to see more. I need to see my weekly Annihilator pop. You know, I need it. You know.
You know what? While we're at it, folks, I don't give a shit, man. Again, this is an alleged safe space. A few weeks ago, that Nia Raquel match on TV, and went to a DQ. Listen, man,
anyway, this is disgusting.
3.25, baby.
We need to chill out. Anyway.
Let's go to the next.
What was next on this show?
Cena.
Was it Cena? Yeah. John Cena. If it wasn't, it doesn't matter. We're gonna get around to all the matches anyway. But John Cena, versus Solo Sikoa and the feared Samoan Spike, which was gonna ruin John Cena's voice. Joe, I don't know if you caught up, but John Cena cut off promo on Friday with a fucked up voice.
I noticed. Yeah.
Oh, you saw that show?
Bro, he's never going to be able to speak again now, man. It's over.
so you know what Dave Meltzer said? Dave was like, so he called a Samoan Spike and couldn't talk. So he shouldn't be able to talk for the rest of the year after these ones. Like
he's over, bro. He's done.
Man. John Cena, he'd been going into this question himself. Can he still go at this level? He hasn't won a singles match since like 2018 or something like that. He's scared he's going to lose the fan support. If he doesn't, get back to a level where he can win matches and stuff like that. So that was kind of the narrative going into it. And obviously, with that being the narrative, it was kind of like, well, Cena's going to get his win here, like John Cena's going to, finally get his win and prove that he can still go and da-da-da. But, Paul Heyman put the scare into John Cena with the law of the Samoan Spike and how he could end his career as a talker, etc., etc. And, man, heartbreak in Saudi Arabia. Solo Sikoa, he don't just hit one Samoan Spike. You don't just hit 2 Samoan Spikes. You don't just hit 3. 3 wasn't enough to stop John Cena from calling out spots towards the end of the match.
That man was like, "Pick me up," and as this guy's fucking jabbing his throat and shit.
He got hit with like 15 Samoan spikes, but this match was just all drama, bro. Like John Cena tried working an arm, which was just an incredible start. This was just. It wasn't particularly like great or anything, but it did have a lot of heat, and I did laugh a lot, and it was entertaining. And Solo, of course, got a huge win, and it's huge for him as well. As a piece of business, I'm not mad at it at all. John Cena busted out a choke slam. Oh man, I love this. Not because it was great, but just because it brought me a lot of pops. Iba, what did you think of Cena versus Solo?
Yeah, I expected this to be absolute dog water. I'm not a big Solo Sikoa guy. I'm not a big believer in him, to be honest with you. And John Cena in 2023 is a bit farcical as a wrestler because he can't bump, he can't do too much because of his Hollywood commitments. So what you're watching is like literally a farce. I didn't expect it to be anything, but all it took was 2 weeks ago. Paul Heyman just said, Solo hits you with that spike. You can't talk to the WWE universe and all that shit, right? And I, like a shameless bastard, I was like, you know what? Let me give this a chance. To your point, Monty. There was some real drama here. I'm laughing hysterically at the beginning of this as Cena is attempting limb work, and then he's attempting thumb work. And I'm like, all right, he's grabbing his hand and he's slamming it on the steps and shit, and he's like, ah, and he's doing it and he's balding, and I'm watching this thing and I'm like, this is just very funny. About 7 minutes in, I'm like, this is not as bad as the Fastlane tag, and then like. He gets the STF and the crossface in, and there's some counters and there's some real drama. And I'm like, is this kind of good? And as I said on the preview, what this match had going for it was that it at least now has an idea to set around going in. And for me, Joe and Monty, when I watch wrestling, it's always a plus when there's an idea to work towards, because when there is one and you work towards it, there's more coherence in the match and more purpose. And so in this one, can John Cena survive, withstand this monster? Is this monster going to take away John Cena's last gift from the fans? And then Solo ultimately breaking everybody's hearts by doing it 12 times repeatedly. It worked for me. I thought this was actually a pretty effective piece of business in terms of what they were setting out for. The post-match where John Cena walked off and, it was like, is this it for me? As fucking Cole is being like, he's overselling the fuck out of it on commentary, and the fans are like, thank you, Cena, and shit. This is a good piece of business. This was both Bloodline matches in different eras were true blue WWF. This Cena deal was WWF 1988, and the Roman LA Knight thing was WWF 2000. I did like this, actually.
We can tell now. Holbert, you agree? You think this is a good piece of business?
Well, here's the thing about life, Monty. There comes a time in every great wrestler's life, every great artist's life, where as fans we're left to ponder, does he have one left in him? Is there still some stuff left in the basement, It's been a while. We're being real about John Cena. It's been a while. I'm not trying to be spiteful. Just being honest. It's been a while. I understand he likes to yell spots while within a headlock, but it ain't the most fun thing to watch. So you ponder, you look at the big picture and you say, what can 2023 John Cena do with Solo Sikoa? And the answer is he's going to become an Anderson overnight. He's going to target a body part. And you mentioned this is not just, I'm going to wrench the arm a little bit. I'm talking hammer fist to the hand. I'm talking the thumb being manipulated back and forth. Joint manipulation, dare I say. And Solo's selling and he's shaking his arm out and
get the
John's yelling things and he's rolling around a lot and kind of... At one point, Solo went up for the bonsai and took approximately 4 minutes to get up to the top rope because John Massimo was telling him to slow down. I don't know. They're just having fun, man. They're wrestling, you know? And I'm watching this match and I'm not sure it was good. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if it matters if it was good.
But you had a good time.
You were engaged. You were engaged, right?
And it was like, it was definitely the most interesting Cena match in like, what we said, like genuinely like 5 years, right? Like he actually like did things and you could tell he intended to have a good match, which made it more interesting because I assumed he was just going to have like, you know, the Cena match, but he didn't, which is fascinating. Solo Sikoa was forced to use taunts to agree in this match that I may have never seen such in my whole life. Like it felt like Solo would like, he would throw like a punch and would do like 4 minutes of just like taunting and yelling and gesturing, and the people were just kind of sitting there waiting. But you've got genuinely, all bits aside, you've got to say when Cena started making his comeback, they were ready. They waited. They were ready to go. It was the same at the last pay-per-view. So it is a very funny match. Cena is just inherently funny at this point. Like the thing where he was yelling spots after the spikes was incredible. But I legitimately did think this was like actually good.
Yes.
Legitimately interesting to watch a wrestling mind like John Cena's, who, let's be real, physically isn't what he was by any means. But watching him try to figure out what a 17-minute match with Solo Sikoa looks like was interesting. The idea of working the hand was actually good. And also like the thing where they tease the spike a lot, you know, where he would duck it or he would block it. And it's like, it's a simple idea, but I will remember this match as the match where those ideas were central, you know, like it had a clear point, as we mentioned. So I really enjoyed this. I thought the finish was objectively awesome. And credit to Cena for like, you know, look, man, let's be honest, track the history of the business in terms of top guys of Cena's caliber. Very few of them have been down to do stuff like this. And he's doing it pretty regularly these days, if we're being real. So I was effective. I remain... Look, I'm not necessarily trying to sell Solo Sikoa as a superstar or anything like that, but I do think, you know, I said to you before, he's had like 140 matches or something. He's still a baby, man. He's had like 4 years of experience, you know? A lot of that was in NXT, so where he's doing squash matches and such. So I think he's doing a pretty good job, but this was about watching John Cena try to figure out what a match looks like between these two in 2023. And Beautiful. For what it was, I thought he passed the test and came up with something pretty damn interesting. So I like this quite a bit.
Beautiful. I want to add, Monty, that you know, people always debate like what's the more important story of wrestling, and it's always a stupid black or white conversation that's way more nuanced than like the truth is way more nuanced than that. But with that said, I'm usually someone that's like, at the end of the day, you know, I can usually tell how good something's going to be based on the match graphic, and this was not an appealing match graphic at all when I saw it. But I got to say, with how they framed this going in and how they did the finish, you kind of now have a lot of opening to do a return match at WrestleMania, quite frankly, Joe. Because they could set something up, right, where they could say John Cena is being inducted into the Hall of Fame or something, right? And you set up a Cena appearance in maybe March or something where he maybe just implies that he's about to retire. And then maybe you have Solo Sikoa come out there and go, hold on, you can't say all this and not mention why you're retiring. You had no intentions until I fucking destroyed you at Saudi. And so please, you know, and you do that type of thing. And you kind of like, you basically set it up to where John Cena as a man feels the need to kind of redeem his loss to Solo Sikoa. And you can do call back to Umaga. You can run you can do a last man standing match again and do it at Mania. And it could be this big, poignant, emotional fight, you know, with John and this monster. And maybe he kind of saves some face by overcoming him at WrestleMania. You could do something along those lines, and that's based off how you did the finish here, and that's wrestling booking, and that's a testament to creative on some levels. Because again, this is not something that I had any interest in when it was first kind of set up. So,
yeah, we had a good time. We got a lot of laughs. Seems like some business was done, and we'll see. You know, Michael Cole said something along the lines Will Solo Sikoa's resume now include the man that retired, John Cena?
I love the include part, like it's a long list of things that he's achieved, you know?
But John Cena's run for now might be coming to an end, you'd assume. So, as in this current one, I very much doubt it is his actual retirement match. I think WWE would make a very big spectacle out of that. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
which is also what made the post-match angle funny. Was like him like looking up, like, is this it? And it's like, no, it's not.
John Cena's just hilarious, bro.
But that's the thing, though. Genuinely, those things aren't for that worked on a portion of the audience, 100%.
Yeah,
there is a kid who went to school, who's going to go to school tomorrow, just sweating bullets about the future of John Cena. Can't believe it. It's over. Bro, ate 14 Simone spikes. It's over. You know, tearing the posters down.
The same way Undertaker would get his annual, like he gets buried alive and fall.
Yeah.
And me as a kid, I would run up and I would type on the internet. It's a true story. I'd write on the internet like, is Undertaker like done? Like, is he not wrestling anymore?
That's craps, bro. You can never lose sight of that stuff. Genuinely, like it's part of the game.
Come January, you hear the thunderbolt on like a wrestler, like the thunder strike sound effect on a wrestler, and I'm like, he's alive. Let's go. It's like 2004.
Anyway, what was that with the women's title match or Logan Paul? Anyone know off the top of the head?
I think they did Logan. They did Logan, but before that they did a vile Miz TV with.
It was one of the big.
Segment. Yeah, it's just the show's slow enough without doing that. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it wasn't like there wasn't like any sort of need for it. As you said, Joe, like the pace of the show, it takes long enough to get from point A to point B anyway, without doing these segments in between.
I came to play, and you're like, fuck. You know, yeah. Now this could have been used on the pre-show, and I hate the Miz, so that's the bottom line of that.
It's very personal with you and the Miz.
Yeah, it really is. Like I can't lie. I just
But yeah, man, big local celebrity. The crowd did pop for him. He's a local actor over in the Middle East. Of course, he's not super well known to us guys over here. His name is Ibrahim Al Hajjaj, I believe. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing it right, but yeah, he done a segment on Miz TV where him and the Miz beat up on Grayson Waller. Yeah, it was Grayson Waller, wasn't it?
Before we move on, can someone in the chat? I'm just pure curiosity. Is there any Miz fan in our audience right now? Can you just identify yourself? I'm just curious.
Well, there's someone here.
God bless.
We can't do that bit after we did our Nia propaganda, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, bro, Tom in the place, you know.
Nia is better than Miz.
Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio, United States Championship. New champ Logan Paul is now the United States champion. A cool fact that I saw on WWE Stats is: did you know, Joe Hulbert, that Rey Mysterio is the first United States champion to win the belt outside of the United States and also drop it outside of the United States?
Well, I never knew that, Monty. That's incredible. I'm gonna run a trivia quiz. Yeah.
Where did he win it, Monty?
He won it in Canada.
Oh,
he won it in Canada.
Shouldn't the U.S. title should only be defended in the U.S.?
Then the international title will only be defended internationally. You know,
that would rule. What a good bit that would be.
Yeah,
just all in every year.
Well, if you remember, Pac wasn't there like a stretch where Pac was doing overseas matches and they were playing it on like Elevation and shit, something like that.
But yeah, Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. Logan Paul's the new champ. There was some kind of drama at the end. Like one of Logan Paul's guys were trying to sneak him the brass knuckles. Santos Escobar stopped this from happening. But as they both got ejected by the referee, Santos Escobar put the brass knuckles right on the apron. So like, Logan Paul could still quite easily get them, and that ended up leading to the finish when Logan Paul hit Rey Mysterio with the brass knucks. I didn't think the world of this match, to say the least. I was actually, I was kind of hoping for a lot more, to be honest. I didn't think it would drag on for as long as it did. Logan's heat segments weren't particularly great at all, Rey Mysterio, not his finest hour, and everyone knows here how much I absolutely adore Rey Mysterio. So I don't say that lightly, But yeah, Ray didn't look exactly sharp or his best performance as of late, and he kind of dragged a little bit in parts. I think it was me and Ibu or me and Joe were talking about this earlier before we went on air, but like it didn't have like the Logan Paul match viral spot either, you know, it didn't have like the big exciting spots with it or set pieces with it either. So kind of a miss, but not a blatant glaring miss. You know, you still got the belt on Logan Paul, which is obviously the direction you want to be going in. So there was some sort of advancement there. But yeah, the match itself kind of didn't live up to my expectations for it, Joe.
Yeah, me either, mate. I actually thought this would probably be really good. I agree with you. We'll get out of the way because, you know, we love Ray, but he did not look particularly good here. It happens. It is what it is. No idea why this needed to be this long. I thought the Ricochet match was too long, but at least they had a bunch of ideas in terms of content. This one was like...
That was way better than this. I agree. And even that could have been better.
Right. I just think they never settled into a rhythm. And this was interesting to watch because this very much felt like a traditional match compared to, like, some of Logan's stuff is much more set piece heavy. You know, you mentioned the viral moments and such. This was a traditional match, and I don't know why that's what you're doing with him, really. I mean, that's what anyone needs to see. Like, you don't want to see Logan wrestle like all the other wrestlers, right? To me, that's not really the point. They struggle for rhythm, and the just general way this dynamic worked is it just didn't really make sense because Ray naturally is going to sell a lot, and that gives Logan a lot of room to fill. And he's just, understandably, he's just not ready to be doing that. He's not like, he's in a handful of matches. So yeah, I didn't think much of this. And I also thought, I thought the Santos thing was like kind of cute. Like it's a cool thing to use for TV, right? Like he left it there. The way they fed into it was just dreadful. That fella sort of crawling around ringside for 8 minutes or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it was just, and it had no heat. Yeah, this did not come together nearly as I expected it to. It was very middling, this, unfortunately.
Anything to add, Ibu?
Yeah, the lack of heat was what I noted the most. Was like, this is a Saudi crowd that, if you guys remember, a year ago in this very same building, were going crazy for Logan Paul against Roman. And now they're being asked to boo the guy, which, I mean, again, you'd think, like, of course, Logan Paul makes sense as a heel, but they didn't really want to boo him. And they're asked to cheer Ray. And so they're like, we're just going to watch this. And Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul working a choppy wrestling match with very little flow in front of an audience that makes no noise for 18 minutes as Logan just gets heat on Rey Mysterio for minutes on end. Just wasn't for me. I wouldn't say the work was bad here, but to Joe's point, like you said, Logan's not at a point where he could just be getting heat and having a wrestling match. And but even still, I thought he was fine generally. I actually thought, unfortunately, like, Ray was the worst half, which breaks my heart. I don't care when matches are not that good, but Rey Mysterio is one of those guys. You want your guys to look good. You know what I mean? It's why FTR versus Aussie Open makes me mad. The one from Wrestle Dream, but nonetheless, that was spiteful. The point is, Rey Mysterio kind of looked ass here, and
maybe she gets some more stem cells.
He looked great earlier with the Dominic stuff, but he didn't look great here. It was kind of weird. He looked kind of tired. And
I will say it seemed to affect both of them. It seemed like because there was not much adrenaline from the people. Do you remember the part when Logan was he wasn't getting up, so Ray was just kind of like rolling him up, and Logan was just kind of like on all fours, getting sort of inside cradled, and it was weird, man. It's like
very weird. Very,
yeah.
I do think the lack of heat hurt them too, because when you're a real wrestler, the real music comes out when there's some heat in the building, brother. And
sure.
Ray, he couldn't feed off that, and I do think at this point he's at his best as a TV match wrestler, working TV match length of wrestling matches. Yep. And so Triple H going, all right, man, work a traditional match, 20 minutes of Logan Paul. Yeah, I saw some people like this. I just it was very middling and disappointing from that respect. Where the Bloodline match is over delivered in my view, I thought this under delivered.
I didn't see this match, but I saw a lot of gifs of it, and I'm so amazed by all the shit that Logan Paul does. Like, it's like, bro, you shouldn't be doing half the stuff you do. You're like a millionaire, but he goes out there for the love of the game and does what he does. So
he's a hell of an athlete, man. I think he's just one of those people, and Joe, like, obviously, I know you've seen some of those shithouse boxing matches and stuff like that, but like, yeah, even how quick he picks out compared to to other influencers that step in there, it's like there is something different about him. Like, he's a proper You can tell he's just a well coordinated. Some people are just well coordinated, athletic guys, you know. And Logan Paul and Jake, for whatever it's worth, are both just.
And he's a natural for wrestling too, right? With the personality and such. It's just it's a different thing, a traditional match. Go on, Manny.
And the one thing I will say about Logan is like what makes it so. I know a lot of people don't like it, but what makes it so cool that he's in wrestling is that he actually wants to be there and he wants this to be his main thing, and he's always trying to promote it every time you hear him fight or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can hate from that perspective of it, but I hope he's around for that sake because it seems like he really wants to be around and defend this title and make it important.
I think he'll be around.
What I would like to add about Logan real quick before we move on is that I think now that we get more matches of him and with increased sample size, I'm getting a better handle on like his game and like what works and what doesn't work for him. And I think matches where he is the more impressive and athletic counterpart and are centered around like him blowing your mind work better. Initially, he had the appeal of like a celebrity could do that. He could do this. Whoa, he did this. That was the big thing. Like that Miz match. He was just busting out stuff that was like, impressive. He's starting to settle into he's just a wrestler now. And so it's like you have to continue to find a way to keep him novel in terms of what he does to impress you. And so I think that should be kept in mind. And so what you're noticing is like him versus another like athletic guy may not be the best way to use Logan Paul. It might be maybe like a big heel base or something like that he can kind of shine against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So like you put someone who can, you need wrestlers in there with Logan now that can fill in the gaps in between, rather than someone who's just going to try and have like highlight real spot fest with him. Like I didn't think the Ricochet match was particularly great. Rey Mysterio, another like high flyer guy, you know, I didn't think that was particularly great as we just like reviewed. But it's hilarious. Like the Miz had a better match with him, you know.
Because,
you know,
crazy.
for everything you say about the Miz, like he knows how to like work a crowd and do that sort of shit. You know, he can do like the simple stuff, but that is the stuff that he's in between parts. You know what I mean? Seth Rollins, of course. Seth Rollins, of course, is kind of more of a hybrid. You know, but he can definitely do the bits in the middle. Roman Reigns that had so much heat, and obviously like Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. So yeah, I agree, Bill. I think you know it's better when he's the more athletic, impressive, spotty guy rather than the person that he's with, like Ricochet. You know, it's a good idea in concept. You know, they had the spot at the Rumble that they did together, and you know what I mean, all this stuff. But in actual execution, it's kind of like when you see it, it's kind of like, wow, this isn't what I kind of wanted it to be. You know, but. Yeah, man. Also, it's probably worth mentioning that Logan Paul saved Rey Mysterio from breaking his neck at one point.
Heel Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul would be a 4-star match.
I've seen people debating that in the chat, like whose fault was it? It's like Ray was short on that moonsault, bro. It's not like Logan was miles out of position or anything. And Logan, you had to swoop in there and catch him. It was a great catch. It was a good catch, man.
What do you guys think of this? People are saying Gunther and Logan Paul. That would be very good, I think.
Gunther Logan would probably be very good, yeah.
The issue is he's a natural heel as a personality. That's the issue.
Yeah. The other one
Gunther's so mean, bro.
You know what would work, I think? Because again, I told this to Joe on the preview, and he kind of lashed out a bit at the time, but I think Logan Paul.
Will you stop?
Oh,
doing this again?
You can't bring that up like again. Like we didn't like yesterday. Like, come on. Anyway,
that's venomous. Venomous.
No, what I'm saying is, I think Logan Paul and LA Knight is the WrestleMania destination, and I think that match is going to be better than this. I think, you know,
you want to see Logan get heat on LA Knight, yeah?
Yeah. Not the greatest match. No. It'd be interesting to see what Logan does with the US title, and you know, there was the scary moment where he made a very fine catch, you know. But yeah, Ray, man. Even with that spot where he caught him, it's like Ray, you know, he's a little bit short. You know, I don't think he actually would have landed on his neck. No. You know, like the momentum he would have just kind of landed on his stomach or whatever, and it would have just been like a botch. You know, it was all just echoing for anyone else.
Like a moment, yeah.
Yeah, for a moment. But we're good now. But yeah, Ray was a little short on that, man. Ray was a little short on it. But it was all good in the end. Anyway, so I'm assuming it's a women's title match next. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. This was I wasn't that mad at this at all. This was pretty good, man. This was we got a lot of interference and stuff like that at the end, but of course the big headline coming out of it is that one of the interferences was Kairi Sane returning to link up with her good friend Io Sky. Costing Bianca on the outside, and yeah, man, Bailey seemed to be pretty surprised and shocked and pretty unhappy that Kairi Sane was linking back up with Io Sky. So I guess we're going to see what tensions that causes for Damage Control. Obviously, we'll see how Kairi fits in. We've already seen that she's been added to the SmackDown roster, but we'll see what her direction is and what they're going to be doing with her. Bianca looked really good here. There was a lot of positives to take from this.
Coming out of the match.
Yeah, like coming out of it, there's positives, yeah, Ibu, what did you think? Women's World Title match?
Yeah, I thought this under-delivered as well, following the Logan Paul match. But the thing is, at the very least, the work was like better than the previous match for sure. The problem here was there was no heat, and it made me mad.
It was tough.
I really wanted this to be awesome, and it was just a solid wrestling match. I actually felt like the extra closing like weighed them both down. Funny enough, but yeah, I thought the work here was all right. They had a solid wrestling match, and then it turned into a bit of an angle at the end. And so my ruling on this is just that it was a decent wrestling match that I wanted to be great and could have been great, and we've seen them have a great match. It was certainly not the Puerto Rico match, but coming out of this, there's a lot to be interested, I think, in going into SmackDown from a storyline standpoint because, Bailey took out Kyrie. Kyrie is Io's friend. Who is Io going to side with? And are there more people to join Io? And so there's stuff there to be set up on SmackDown. Bailey may potentially be going babyface. So from that standpoint, there's interesting stuff there. And the match is all right. Oh, and it's good to see Kyrie back. I thought she looked really cool.
Oh, she always does. She's fucking awesome. But yeah, like you said, the work itself was fine. The heat was shit. But coming out of it, there was multiple positives. Weirdly. But what did you think of the whole thing, really?
Yeah, I think the match was decent. I agree with both. The work here was better, and they had a pretty good kind of outline. This one actually found its direction a lot quicker than the last match.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't the heat was non-existent. You both mentioned it. It is what it is. It's hard to, for me anyway. Everyone's different. I find it very hard to truly get immersed in a match when the crowd is this disinterested in it. It's just
it's
tough. It happens. It happens sometimes. But I thought both performances individually were good. So it happens. Kyrie, great to see her. There is a part of me that's like, I still think the money with Kyrie is with her as a babyface, but I think this direction is also interesting, and it could eventually get there anyway. So I'm intrigued. I liked how they kind of came out of this, even if the match itself was just decent.
You know what blows my mind, Joe? And I'd imagine you haven't gotten to it yet. Bianca versus Bailey on SmackDown.
I hear it was very good.
Was way better than this.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that.
We are
tomorrow. We'll touch on it tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do our weekend broad recap. So we'll talk a little bit of SmackDown. We'll talk a little bit of whatever was on Rampage.
Are you going to announce the surprise tonight, Monty, for tomorrow or no?
Let me check my DMs.
Well, while he does that, yeah, Joe, I thought Bianca versus Bailey. The big note to me was Bianca looked like leaner, like not in like a suggestive way, but like her body's exposed because she wasn't a Saudi, right? And like you just saw that she was leaner than she had been, kind of like how she was a couple of years ago. And like she had a notable like burst. Like she was just hitting ropes with like reckless abandon. She looked like a fucking super athlete cyborg in there with Bailey. And in a weird way, it made Bailey sympathetic, and the crowd kind of like took to her because it felt like she was just so physically overmatched. It was like God bless Pam, hang in there, with this fucking freak. But it kind of made the match, and she just kind of had to rely on like her savviness and craft to kind of get through it, and it turned into like an interesting match as a result. Our a guy we all know, Joseph Montesillo, gave it 4 stars, and I was like, I guess I got to watch SmackDown, and I checked it out, and I was like, this was pretty damn good. Not as high, but I was a fan of it. So we'll get into that more tomorrow on Worldwide.
Yeah, you already just fucking did it, mate. Anyway,
so are we announcing a surprise tonight, Monty, or no? I want to advertise it like a carny.
No, we don't. I don't like advertising ahead of time anyway. But
you piece of shit,
bro, we haven't done it yet.
Promote.
No, we don't. We'll be all right. Anyway,
God damn it, Monty.
I will say, when you guys find out the surprise, I'm very jealous.
I wanted to end the show with the reveal, pop another number on the live viewership. You know what I mean? Just business here.
The way this show turned without me, man. Why couldn't this show be what it was when I was there? When I was here.
What does that mean?
I want to be part of some of this stuff you guys do now.
What do we do now? we interviewed Leon Slater and. That's it. And we've got the surprise is we may or may not have a
wait.
Shut the fuck up, people. Anyway, tomorrow, Respiratory Worldwide, we may or may not have another special guest joining us, someone who is very interesting, to say the least. Someone we're definitely going to have a lot of questions for. The only reason why I'm not saying who it is, even though he did confirm earlier in the week, I sent him a message about 20 minutes ago, saying just to make sure. Obviously, it was only like 20 minutes ago, so he hasn't replied just yet. But tomorrow, keep an eye out. Keep an eye on the Respiratory page. I'm sure we'll do some sort of announcement when we get the double, triple confirmation. But yeah, back to Crown Jewel. 2 matches left, I think. And they are
our live chat.
What are they saying?
They think it's Phil.
Pink Punk's coming on.
Yeah, it's somewhat interesting, but we'll have questions for absolutely. But it's not like CM Punk, Cody, or anyone like that. So chill out. All right, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest.
Yeah,
a really good bit of business. Cody, I think this was one of the performances where you can, especially when you watch the whole show, like in the context of the whole show. I think this was one of the performances and one of the outings of Cody Rhodes where you can look at him and be like, that is the top fucking babyface in this promotion. You know, like the energy when he walks into the room, the way he carries himself, his presence, just the way that he wrestles, the way that the crowd fire up with him, and all these things. Like, he's just a phenomenal wrestler, I think. Damian Priest looked very good here as well. And I thought this match actually over-delivered in a sense. I wasn't expecting it to be quite... I wasn't expecting to get quite this much enjoyment out of it. It's in the conversation for my match of the night, to be honest. Fucking Cody Rhodes, man. Ibu, talk to the people, man.
Oh, my God. Listen, man. When you watch a wrestling show, folks, sometimes people come on and it makes it very clear who are the real stars in the industry. You know, you watch a full wrestling show, and some people come out there and they have the audience a little bit. Some people have it less. Cody comes on in hour 3 of this show, and you know, right as like the show's starting to trail off a bit, the heat is minimal. 2 straight matches that were just kind of disappointing, and you're like, I don't know about this event, man. What are we doing here? You know, and then wrestling is more than one royal family, and you're like, all right. And he comes out there in that jacket. And for the anime heads, he looks like a fucking Gundam general, man. He has the red jacket. He's looking like Char. He's looking like, what's that nigga's name? Zex Marquise or whatever. He just looks like a fucking big, and not in that dorky cosplay way either, you know? Like, some of these motherfuckers kind of wear these outfits, and you're like, what a nerd, you know? Cody just looks like a G, you know what I mean? He looks like a fucking G. And he comes out there, and you're like, let's go, man. It's Cody. And Saudi's going along with it, and they're like, adrenaline in my soul, everybody. And I'm like, let's go, you know, I'm ready to go. And you know, but you got to jumpstart to the match. That's the other refreshing part about this, Joe, is, you know, after 2 straight matches where the pacing was just a little, you know, it's just like, all right, they're just wrestling. He comes out there and he's House of Fire coming at Damian Priest. You know what I mean? He does the dive. He does his big shit. Bombs away. You know what I mean? And this is this felt like an injection of crack into my system. It's like at Full Gear 2021. I'm watching the show. I'm starting to get a little fucking tired. There's like a lot of matches. There's like 29 matches. And most of them are very good, but I'm just fucking tired, you know? And then CM Punk and Eddie Kingston came out there and did some real music for about 12 minutes. And I needed that, you know? This was one of those matches. I barely remember the fucking spots. I just remember I stood up. I ripped my shirt off. I'm shadow boxing. I want Cody to get this motherfucker. You know, I want him to beat Undertaker. And he did. You know what I mean? He got the job done. He rocked the house. The fans are going crazy for it. They were super into it. You know what I mean? You got some runouts with Jey Uso and shit. You know? And he beat him with 3 Crossroads after a really cool run-up, step-up Cody cutter. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, this is the top guy in the industry. Not the company. Not the industry. He is the ace of pro wrestling. Anytime you give him an opportunity to show it, he shows it. And he did again on this event. I had a good time with this.
I'm going to be honest. I was half paying attention. I was like, man, why is he going on about what made him this excited? Then he goes on and on, and then he says it's Cody versus who's Punishment Martinez, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's no way that fired you up that much like that. Where you went like on a 5-minute soliloquy on it.
He did. He got him from point A to point B, Manny Hooper, you know. Hulbert, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, this was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I don't really know what I'm supposed to add to what just happened here. I don't know if I want to be associated with what just happened here. We took some interesting directions there with our friend Ibu of Wrestle Purist. I'll just say I liked it. Cody Rhodes very over. The people like Cody Rhodes. So, in all seriousness, this show really needed Cody to come out because it was becoming a bit of a slog with the lack of heat for the last 2 matches. So, this set the stage nicely for the main event. It was good.
Yeah, man, it was good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking of Damian Priest, I forgot to mention fucking Sami Zayn stealing his briefcase when he tried to cash in after the Seth and Drew match. Crowd loved it. Seeing Sammy again, and I thought it was a fun bit of business, you know. So, yeah, main event time now. Talk about the main event. LA Knight getting his big opportunity in the main event at the pay-per-view opposite Roman Reigns for the world title. Huge spot for him. A lot of people are wondering, is he going to be able to live up to this moment? Is he going to be able to hang with a big star such as Roman Reigns? There was a lot of people who were very worried about how this match may turn out because Roman Reigns works a very slow, selective kind of style, you know, and he takes his time and he drinks it in from the crowd, and it's a lot of crowd work, and it's like this, and it's not, you know, if your ideal match is a Will Ospreay match, it's kind of like the opposite in terms of matches that get reactions, you know, like there's that type of match, and then there's the high work rate match. But anyway, a lot of people are kind of worried about this one, and I thought they delivered a pretty good match here, to be honest. LA Knight definitely can hang. I've been saying all week when people have been trying to put him down, even people who are also members of this channel. Had to stop our good friend Rob in his tracks when he said LA Knight wasn't a good worker. I was like, listen, brother, he's solid. He can do the dance. He's not gonna give you a match of the year contender, but he's solid, man. You know, he can do his thing out there, and he did. And I thought the majority of this match was pretty good. I thought the typical Bloodline Smoke and Mirrors was a bit eye roll. To be honest, I didn't think it was needed, and I thought it would have been needed going into this match. Like, there's going to be a lot of, you know, smoke and mirrors and a lot of set pieces and stuff like that. But about 5-10 minutes into this match, I was like, oh, hold on. They're cooking here without all the props and the outside, you know what I mean? They're doing this by themselves, and yeah, of course, Roman Reigns got the win here. I know a few people were very unhappy about that, but I thought it was pretty obvious from the get-go. I never really bought into any sort of even hint at LA Knight even possibly doing anything other than look at the lights here. But yeah, I thought it was a good piece of business. Crowd loves LA Knight. Crowd just... Roman Reigns has the fucking live crowds. He has them in a way that I don't think... I don't actually think we've ever seen anything like this before. Like there's been wrestlers that have, that have had the crowd by the balls, but in different ways. Like Roman literally can like look up, do a slight head turn, and the crowd will like do exactly what he wants them to do. It's actually fascinating to watch.
He's an aura wrestler.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but like to the highest extent I think I've ever seen. Like. Yeah. I'm not saying he has the best crowd control I've ever seen, but he's the only person I've seen do it in that way specifically. Joe, am I losing my mind there?
No, he's a unique case because he's the top guy in the company as a heel, and that's a rare thing in itself. Even when they got heel heavy, like he's the actual top guy. He's been the world champion for over 3 years as a heel, so he's unique. He's definitely able to work in a way that very few other guys in the whole entire industry could get away with working. Like he can be very minimalistic with that. Now, the end of the match, the second half of his matches is very much not minimalist. But when he's just out there working, to your point, just a look, just a glance, a gesture, he can get them making more noise than some of the matches on this show got while doing really impressive things. So it's interesting watching that way. You nailed it, man. Like this was good, not great. But what made this interesting was the part of this that worked was the actual big time wrestling match. When they were just having a traditional, major league main event, this really was connecting. They were doing the punch trade and the people were rocking with it, and it was really working to the point where I actually wish we'd have got the natural conclusion of that and let this match develop that way rather than going into the bloodline stuff, which we all expected, right? We all knew there was going to be run-ins. But what we thought was those run-ins would be necessary to get this where it needed to go, when in reality, I actually think it cut off the match when it was starting to really get something pretty awesome, honestly. In addition, I wish they'd just had like an extra beat or surprise with the bloodline stuff. It's so cookie cutter at this point. It's like the same. It feels identical almost. So that pulled it down a touch, but the body of this, like I actually honestly thought this was like a triumph. Like I think it's really worked. Great Roman Reigns performance. Speaking of such, Ibu, after you review this match, you have to apologize to
the Tribal Chief.
Yes, the Tribal Chief.
Yeah.
I do. Before you go, like, man, that opening from when I was awake, the opening exchange was awesome, and then like how WWE refs usually are like trying to enforce the rules, and they're just like they're trying to get everything in order. I just like how it seemed like the ref was letting them do what they had to do on the outside, and you couldn't really tell he was counting. He was just like seemed like he was letting things play out, which was a pretty cool feeling. And it did seem like the crowd wasn't really into it at first from what I did see, but then after like all the long heat segments, I was shocked that LA Knight was able to get the crowd going again, like during that first 15 minutes of it. So yeah.
Oh man, LA Knight. He got off to a hot start as well. Good stuff.
They did the jump start I was talking about, right? When Friday I said they should go hot with that. They did. It was good.
Ibu?
Yo, this was fun, bro. Like, we know LA Knight, likes to cosplay Steve Austin and The Rock, on TV, but it's about time he cosplayed him in the ring. This felt to me, for me in the moment, it felt like it captured the fun feeling of Rock main events in like 2000. It did. It has good punches, heat. It's just really fun. It feels big. You get the big near falls and big kickouts. So I had a good time with this. And to Joe's point, this match was at its best when they were just kind of going back and forth. I thought it was like, uncharacteristically succinct for a Roman Reigns main event match. They just kind of got to it, so to speak. And it just didn't have a lot of that trademark Roman Reigns meanderance that he has these days. So like they kind of just got to the point far quicker than a lot of his other big matches did. And so for me, some people think this is like blasphemous. I personally liked this more than the Sami Zayn Roman deal.
That's a little bit excessive.
I know people are gonna feel that way. It just for them, they're just staring at each other for 10 minutes. It's the most maximalist thing ever. And it's just a lot, It's like just get to it, For this, they just don't know. He just gets super heat, and they went back and forth, and it just I don't know. I had a good time with this. I will agree with people who criticize the closing stretch because it is kind of like at this point like lazy.
It's just eye roll, and
it's
kind of lazy too.
It's old hat. Frankly, I'll be honest with you. Roman Reigns just straight up beating him would have just been better. Like he just bested it. He just beat him. It's all right. You know, they see it as he's a big star now. We got to protect him. But I don't know. Even though night is over as hell, to me he's still not like at the level of a, you know, in my internal head ranking of babyfaces in WWE, he's not where Cody, Sammy, or Kevin Owens is. So I think
there's one babyface that would. As I said, there's one babyface that needs protecting in a loss to Roman in that entire company, and it's someone who shouldn't even be losing to Roman Reigns when he next steps in there with him. Frankly, so like, anyone can lose to Roman, bro, and they'll be fine.
Even if you're gonna do it, like have a little different wrinkle.
Yeah,
you know
but get some creativity with it. You know,
Jesus. He put this guy Jay through a table or whatever. Then he eats the barricade spear, and he gets speared in the ring, and that's it. I think Knight simply just not tapping to a guillotine is fine enough. You know, he just passed out in the guillotine, and it's like, oh man, what a tough guy. He didn't quit. He didn't acknowledge the tribal chief. He didn't tap out, and that was just that. So from that standpoint, the smoke and mirrors that usually make a bloodline match more entertaining didn't help this one. And I was thinking about this, Joe and Monty. Part of why the bloodline smoke and mirrors kind of closing stretch stuff worked for the previous two tags Roman was at, like the Saudi tag where it was him and Solo versus KO and Sammy, and then the Usos one, was that it was overcome. Like for once, it was like the bloodline bullshit didn't work. The good guys like overcame it, and as a rule in wrestling, as I call it the Steve Austin rule, all that kind of just chicanery in a closing stretch, all that chaos and bullshit. It works if the good guy like gets past it and wins, because then it's satisfying. When they don't, it's just kind of like okay. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
All right, now Ibu, if you will, please apologize to the tribal chief.
Please.
All right, so folks, when this match started, I kind of
we don't need context. We just need
justice.
Eloquently put apology to the tribal chief Roman Reigns.
Put some respect on his name.
Talk to him, Manny.
All right, well, Roman Reigns, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I acknowledge you, and I will see you in January, sir.
Name a big time wrestler like that can take months off and then come out there and deliver.
Talk to him.
My favorite thing is the way he kayfabes when people are like, "Where's he been?" He's like, "I've been working, brother," you know, and he's like, "I've been in the gym."
He's so fucking awesome, bro. I don't like. I totally get why people that watch more than me are tired of it and exhausted, but someone who just dips in and out, that dude feels like the atmosphere changes, man. Bro, when we were there in London, like we saw it. That show had it had a certain vibe, and people were like, that's fine. And then fucking Big Rome came out, and it was like, oh shit, the big man is back, you know?
Yo, on SmackDown, when Roman's theme cues, it cuts to like a one crowd shot, and you just see this one guy shoot out of a seat and throw one up like, oh shit.
Oh, bro, it happens every week. People come out of the seats, you know, grown men in the 30s just off
throwing
on
these
the
goofy ones up and shit.
But yeah, man, Crown Jewel, man. Crown Jewel. It was not a great show, not a terrible show. It was somewhere in the middle. I'll probably give it about 6 out of 10, to be honest. And I know that sounds harsh, but I'm one of those people who takes a 1 to 10 rating very literally. So, like, 6 out of 10 is, you know, better than an average show. You know what I mean? It was all right, you know.
I like this more than the previous two pay-per-views. I thought this was way more fun than...
These shows are not doing a great job of, like, showcasing how hot they actually are, if we're being honest, right? And I say someone who watches the pay-per-views most. You guys talked about the TV. I watched the highlights of it. Mm-hmm. The pay-per-view, like this actual last run of pay-per-views has not really been like anything special. They're fine, you know. Mm-hmm. They're okay.
And then like on some of these Raws, like you'll see just some of the in-ring variety that they're offering at the moment with some of these guys that are not making the PLEs. Like there's like shows where like I remember that episode where Ricochet and Nakamura had a falls count anywhere match that was super fun, and like that had like a great tag main event, and Gunther and Bronson Reed in the middle of the show, like stuff like that. and like every show has a hot opening and closing angle with all the baby faces that they showcase back to back to back as a flex of just like how many good guys they have. So from that respect, I totally agree. I will say though, again, I personally did have more fun with this than Fastlane and Payback because with Roman being there, it just feels like it's important at the very least.
Yeah, there's stakes. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas the previous show just didn't feel consequential in any way. Like I finished it, I'm like, I could have just skipped that. With this is like, no, man, big Roman in the main event, going toe to toe with this guy. So yeah, I like this show, to be honest with you, even though I didn't remember a couple of things. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I did like it. Like I said, it's above a 5, so I liked it. You know what I mean? Give it a 6. Just
trim some of that stuff in between matches, and I'll probably have a positive review.
Oh, mate. Yeah, mate.
It felt like it went on for a lifetime, bro.
Yes. Good hour of video package, it felt like.
Yeah, so long.
Anyway, we got some super chats we're going to get through. We're going to quickly, we'll talk a little bit of Collision. We'll talk a little bit about Will Ospreay, and we'll get out of here. Try to get out of here in the next 30 minutes or so. Bob the Builder, $4 Canadian, appreciate it. When he didn't watch the pay-per-view yesterday, lol, why is he reviewing it, LMAO? He didn't.
Joke's on you, I didn't review it. I was just here for vibes.
Cabana and Cutler is the worst tag team
so
in the history of wrestling. I mean, I haven't seen them wrestle, but I know that they're together.
Expect to see more of Cabana and of Brandon Cutler very soon.
Yeah, I have no name. I have disposed of it for $4.99. Appreciate it. If Triple H never had that heart attack, allowing for Vince to come in and mutilate NXT, how different would the wrestling landscape be right now?
Yes, that's actually a really interesting one. Like, legitimately.
I don't know, because it's like Vince would have still been outed as a pervert, and they still probably would have fell back on Triple H, and they probably would have been even more confident to fall back on Triple H because there wouldn't have been he failed with NXT, and we have to turn it into NXT.
Imagine the talent difference, though. There's so many guys.
Roderick Strong.
There. So many guys, man. Like
Swerve, Roderick Strong, and a couple other guys.
I think a lot of people say. I think Swerve, Swerve famously isn't a Triple H guy at all.
But they still would have done more with Hit Row before they called it.
It's a pretty good wife. It's a pretty good wife. Yeah, it's a pretty good wife.
There was a lot of own goals scored in that time, man. When
a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy.
AEW's doing it.
See how quick, man, he got that in. Like,
when he says it and he looks up, like he's like innocent, like I didn't say shit. We talking about
Will Chisholm, $5, appreciate you. So Vince brought back Nia Jax. How does Triple H really feel about booking her?
He sees her as we need a figure in the women's division that can realistically be seen as a challenge for Rhea Ripley.
Oh, where is it that Vince brought back Nia Jax?
Wait, what?
Definitely likes Nia, bro.
Time out.
She was featured.
I didn't even notice that. No, that was not a Vince McMahon call.
She worked like 2 takeover matches in NXT, and she was there for 6 months.
Yeah. Hunter likes the idea of her.
Yeah.
That's the same. Average foodie, 200 rupees. He sends us a list of Twitter accounts he doesn't like. I'm not reading them all out because I'm just not, Appreciate you though. That's a list of Average foodies shit list. Average foodie again, 100 rupees. Appreciate you. AEW going WWE route and no CM Punk hurting a lot. Bloodline and Judgment Day is garbage. Dominic sucks, yet Big Nose over pushing while he's wasted on main roster. You're angry about a lot of Average foodie. Fucking hell, mate. Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. It does feel like Cena didn't like Theory. It felt like he put him over because Vince wanted him to. That has been a sentiment that has been shared quite a lot on the internet. Like, look how much Cena tried for Solo. He clearly didn't like Theory. Blah blah blah.
It is noticeable. It is noticeable.
It's just all we can do is recklessly speculate. But that's all I'll say. Lobo MBS $1.99. Appreciate you. Who taunts more, Parker Boudreaux or Solo Sikoa?
Parker's taunts are more extravagant. They're very aggressive. Which is important.
Lobo, I'm very upset you didn't put Penta in this category.
No, these guys are different level. These guys.
I don't know. The Penta spot when he takes the glove off is crazy.
It is crazy. Anyway, Showtime Spurs $2. Appreciate you as always. Shame they couldn't get Frank Lampard for Miss TV. Is it? Average Foodie. 100 rupees again. Appreciate you. Some more complaints. TK is the worst booker when it comes to women's. Easily behind Bischoff, Vince, Moolah, Russo. Just booking one women's show shows he's a hypocrite, racist, sexist, and a fool.
Are you trolling?
Moolah is crazy, bro.
Moolah's great. That's when it's like
Average fully DM me. I need to hear your other takes.
Monty, read this in a proper accent.
No proper. What do you mean proper? At half £1.99. Who the hell is this boozer? You? I mean, he's a
Twitter scoopster.
He's a Twitter scoopster. He's good for WWE rundowns and stuff like that. And there's a lot of WWE fans that take all his word by gospel. So he has like a cult-like following. He's on private, but he does have like 8,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's the Cliff Notes. Mr. Hank 199, appreciate you. Bailey versus Bianca being the women's match of the week is kind of crazy. Oh, what
was the women's match on Dynamite? I don't remember.
I mean, out of US matches, probably, yeah. Women's match, Willow wrestled someone this week. Willow versus
that was Collision.
Someone help me.
Collision was Willow.
It was this week.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what was the Dynamite one? Because I'm trying to see if I.
Oh, it was Julia Hart.
It was Sheeta and Willow, right? Wasn't it? Wasn't it Sheeta and Willow?
It was Red Velvet.
Might have. No, it was not Red Velvet, man. Man, he is so fucked. It's Red Velvet.
Man, he don't even know, and he just says a name.
Just saying things.
Yeah, like Sheeta and Willow.
Yeah, Henke, I agree with you. I do think Bailey Bianca's the match of the week for the women. It wasn't a great week for women's matches on TV, though.
Mazfan 84 199, appreciate it. No match popping more this week than Mox versus Okan. We'll get into that a lot more tomorrow. We haven't really got time to do the power struggle stuff today.
Yep.
Showtime Spurs tells you with $2, Ibu. Never do a Saudi accent again, LMAO. Bro, every time, Ibu, those of you who know, Ibu never uses his accents in a derogatory way, but he does, for some reason, it doesn't matter if it's Chinese, Irish, English, Saudi, Indian, Spanish, French, fucking whatever it is, Ibu feels the need to do an accent.
He'll give it a go.
He'll give it a go, and it's usually pretty bad, and someone will call him racist, and it's like, fuck. I just wish he just didn't do them, personally. I'm with you, Showtime Spurs.
With that said, if you'd like to, for anyone who would like to have a serious conversation about my racial and religious points of origin, feel free to reach out to me, and then we can have that conversation. Thank you.
I'm glad everyone's so happy to know you're open for that.
Thank
anyway.
you.
Niggas assuming where the fuck I'm from. Like, what are we talking about?
The most incredible one was when Ibu spoke Chinese on the podcast, and people thought it was just him like mocking the accent.
No, I just fucking speak Chinese.
He was actually speaking legitimate Chinese on the show.
Chinese.
That was horrifying, bro.
But yeah, Ibu and his accents, he never means it in a bad faith way or derogatory way or anything. But he gives them a go, even though he's pretty bad at them. Pizza Dog 199. I think pro wrestling is neat. So do I. Joe doesn't. He lashed out. He lashed out earlier in the week, but that's a story for another day. Dwight 199. Appreciate it. Manny, I made a US chiropractor appointment.
That's crazy, bro. Especially coming at me with that Dwight profile pic, bro. That's crazy.
Bob the Builder, $2 Canadian. What do you mean, Ibu, about the tag team?
What is he talking about?
This was from, this is only from not 5 minutes ago. So, what tag team is he talking about?
Team.
What are we talking
Tag team. Bob the Builder, remind us in the chat. You don't have to send a super chat again.
Yeah, just tell us what you're talking about.
If you want to, you can.
Yeah, anyway, skipping ahead. Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate it. I do like Triple H trying to bring back wrestling to WWE. If Triple H had the pen back then, Adam Cole would beat Seth for that title on Raw.
Yeah.
That isn't, yeah.
Joe, you'd be seeing on it. This is another one. Look, you'd be seeing a lot of on these Raws. Oh, Adam Cole.
I would not be seeing them actually.
you would see those cage match 8s and just simply pretend to not see those.
Yeah.
Colt Cabana and Brandon Cutler.
Oh, they're cooking.
Oh, so what was the question Will asked about those two?
What do you mean about the tag team? Because you mentioned about seeing them a lot more.
Look, Bob, let me tell you something, Bob. You don't want to know.
Manny, let me just.
I think he does.
Let me just answer the question. You're gonna get me in trouble. Jesus Christ. Yeah, look. Just keep an eye out for those two guys. You know, and you're gonna.
There's creative pitches circling around.
That would get you in trouble. What I say you don't want to know that wouldn't get you in trouble.
Because you make it sound like there might be perverts or something, you know?
Just take it easy, man. Just let me answer the question. We can move on, and I don't gotta get shot by someone in All Elite Wrestling. You know what I mean? It's just.
Anyway. Will Chisholm, appreciate you as always, $5. The Stardom fans are going to call a hit on Triple H if he keeps trying to get their talent. Bodybuilder sent us $2, even though we said he didn't need to. He didn't need to.
Class act.
Appreciate it, Bob. You are all class, mate. All class. Speaking of all class.
Nobody snitch on me, please, from this podcast. You know, I try to feed the streets a little bit. Okay, man. You know, try to feed the streets, but please don't get me in trouble. Please. You know.
What should we get into next? I said we was going to talk about Will Ospreay, didn't I? So we'll talk about Will Ospreay. Let's talk about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, apparently, according to Fightful Select, has a very heavy interest from WWE. This is following on from Dave earlier on Wrestling Observer Radio. Was basically like, you know, a lot of people think AEW are, you know, nailed on, locked in for Will Ospreay, but WWE are very much in the race. Which is kind of like, as far as that is concerned, a lot of people like have misinterpreted like what is actually reported over the past week. It's like, you know, there was a poor aggregation from a big site of something he said in the Observer. I think it was like last week's Observer or something like that, where it was like, you know, a lot of people do think that Ospreay is going to AEW, but X, Y, and Z, WWE is at play with these things, and he kind of like done like a broad talking about Will Ospreay's thing, and this big website took it like, you know, Will Ospreay's the headline was something like report Will Ospreay is expected to join AEW. So that's not what Dave said. So when Dave actually said earlier or last night, you know, it's you know, both of the big two are in play. People are like, oh, well, last week you said that he was definitely going AEW. Like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No one's ever said Will Ospreay is definitely going anywhere. The only thing that's actually been said is, and even this can only been taken with a pinch of salt because it was during a promo, but Will Ospreay very much heavily hinted that he is leaving New Japan, you know. But outside of that, WWE or AEW, there's no definitive reporting or anything like that regarding where he's actually going to end up. WWE in play. Those of you who have watched these podcasts where we followed this situation know that I'm absolutely not surprised by WWE being a big factor at play here, because WWE, bro. No, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got they're number one in the industry. They've got all the money they could possibly need to make an offer that they think's fit. And like I said, according to Sean, they are heavily interested. So, Joe, it's not surprising, is it?
No, not all. You know, we kind of gave our like firm stance on this a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week even, and I'm still in the same spot where it's like I think it's a bidding war that Tony will feel we can't afford to lose. It's just a talent that's such an obvious fit for him. I think he'll get Will Ospreay, but they are. I mean, it'd be foolish to write them off, because if they want a guy, they're going to pursue it heavy, you know. And they got, as you said, they've got the resources to do so. So it wouldn't surprise me, it wouldn't stun me, but I still do think, if you just look at all the puzzle pieces in front of you, it's hard to kind of look past an AEW run, I think.
Yeah, still absolutely. Even though I've been one of those people who, even when it seemed less likely, like I've always been one of the people who's been like, you know, WWE is absolutely a possibility. I've always maintained that AEW is absolutely the favourites to get his signature, you know. But I think it would be kind of naive to just write WWE out of this, you know.
It always is.
It's also worth noting that in the Fightful Select report, it says that, you know, where's the wording? Preliminary overtures have been made towards Ospreay, and there has been contact between the two sides. So
that means DMs, by the way.
Probably that's the funniest thing.
Hey, Nick, have you guys reached out to Will? Well, we've certainly made some preliminary overtures.
Bill Regal sending DMs.
I was gonna say it's really Regal going like, Billy, how are you feeling? How's everything going?
The fucking accents again.
Yeah, accents are great.
I feel you can make a great impact here. Just all that shit. Oh man.
Yeah. Ibu, anything to add? Well, not add as in exclusive, but like any opinion, you know.
I was gonna say, Paul Heyman thinks Will Ospreay is one of the greatest wrestlers he's ever seen.
Oh,
God bless.
Yeah, he thinks. Here's another one. Paul Heyman currently thinks that Kenny Omega is the greatest athlete in the history of wrestling.
How great is the idea of Paul Lee firing up New Japan World? It's got like a Chromecast or some shit fired up.
Here's a real thing Paul Lee was saying internally. About 6-ish years ago, he was telling people that AJ Styles is the evolution of Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and that he can do what they do, but more. And
that relationship went great too.
But yeah, so Heyman reveres him and thinks he's incredible. Triple H thinks he's like one of the godliest wrestlers on the planet, and it should be no surprise that every single last one of them want Will Ospreay to varying degrees. There are people in that what's it called, gorilla position. You can probably guess exactly who are kind of like, I don't get the hat, but
Brother Love.
3 specifically. Monty, guess the 3. You could get them all in one try.
Michael Hayes ain't seen no money in Will Ospreay, bro.
One more. One more.
That would be the interesting thing with Will Ospreay. Is like I can imagine him like very much splitting opinions amongst like the creative and the old heads there, you know.
I assume Road Dogg doesn't get it, right?
No. Hunter Regal, you know, they think he's godly. You know?
Yeah.
They think he's godly.
Hunter, Regal, Jason Jordan, Rob Fee. They all think he's awesome, you know?
There is no way that Michael Pierce Hayes has studied Will Ospreay tape. He has just been told that he does moves and said, fuck that, I'm no interest in the matter.
You know, I got a fellow producer showing him their phone of a New Japan clip of him and showed it to a sequence, and they're like, that's that fucking bullshit.
Ask him what his football background is, you know. Like
the important take that I'm sure the audience is all waiting for. Manny the Hooper. You're sitting there, you've been biding your time, thinking about this, rolling it around, you know. Will Ospreay. Where do you think he goes? Where do you think he should go? And just in general, Will Ospreay, talk to us.
From all we can gather is that he wants the bag, and I think it's kind of ridiculous how people have been putting Impact and New Japan in the list of people that are going to pay for him, because Impact can't pay for shit, so I don't think they're going to be able to afford him. So he's going to do his little TNA shit until he's a free agent, and New Japan doesn't pay foreigners like that, and especially if they're not going to push you, I think. So, and then I don't know. I feel like Tony Khan's invested way too much money in him to let him go. So I think he's just going to outbid himself in this kind of a thing, and hopefully it works out. He's going to be in the Don Callis family, I guess, and let's fucking see what Will does.
Yeah, that's I guess that's kind of the. Go on, man. Carry on.
I don't think he'll be able to help a lot of the problems for AEW. I think he'll enjoy doing some of the shit that they do. So I mean. I don't think he'll be a net positive for everybody there.
Yeah, I don't think he's like a fix for the things like, you know, obviously AEW, it's Sunday now. AEW's had a pretty tough week. Like I know Collision didn't get like dragged through the mud, feedback wise, but they've had a pretty tough week in terms of perception and stuff like that. So, but the things that people have brought up that are quote unquote wrong with AEW at the moment. I don't think Will Ospreay coming in. I agree with you, Manny. I don't think Will Ospreay coming in would not fix any of those issues at all.
And then I feel bad for the people that thought this Don Callis Takeshita push was gonna be for him, but as soon as Will comes in there, you're gonna say bye to Takeshita, man. That spot's gone. It's just gonna be Will in that spot, and I think he's gonna be the one that suffers the most from it.
We're almost 2.5 hours, and we're deep enough now to just be real about everything. So I got a question.
You're shit on Takeshita.
No, why would I shit on Takeshita? Pay attention, Manny. I love Takeshita. Joe, Collision has become your pervert show that you still kind of get some grins
Jesus.
on. Yeah,
Jesus. Carry on, yes.
But it's the last thing you got when it comes to TV wrestling, right?
Yes, mate.
William Ospreay. Is he allowed in this universe, or does he fit more with what those fuckers do on Wednesday?
These matches are probably a bit too good for what I'm looking for. He can come around on occasion.
Monthly special.
Last night was right up my street. I mean, the best match on last night's Collision was like 3 1/4. Worst match was like 2.5, and I was just sitting there going, "This is fucking wrestling. This is my feet up." Even the main event had a shitter in it. It's fucking WCW, bro. I don't want, what I mean?
A post-match angle is just kind of bad and confusing.
Who was the shit?
FTR's music.
Let's talk about.
Who was the shitter in that main event?
Hold on. Let's just talk about Collision before we just end up all over the place.
For everything I heard about that thing, everybody came to me and said Preston Vance might be the guy because I was in.
He looked good in that match. Yeah.
Maybe you should probably watch these matches for yourself. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I haven't. I wanted to watch it today. I just haven't had time. I started. I woke up late. My day off.
The only thing I ever take from a match is the only thing I ever take recommendations for is like, should I watch the match? Like, yes or no. It's like when someone says like, "Oh, this tag was great, but so and so got carried," or something like that. I never take notice of the second part. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just you can't. Bro. It's a dangerous game, man. Someone says watch a match. Enough people say it, then check it out.
Well, I haven't had time today. I woke up late and I watched.
But it's the last bit where you're like, "Oh, well, loads of people told me Preston Vance is." It's like, just leave that part out, Speaking of which, Joe Hulbert, you were just talking about your joys of Collision. What was one of or a couple of your highlights on the show last night? Because we're not going to do a full review.
The main event I thought was like actually really fun. Kind of road to tag. It has a weird babyface heel dynamic because LFI have just been kind of plucked out of the air and put alongside FTR. But that created some cool kind of offensive bursts. FTR were like genuinely awesome in this main event and worked incredibly hard. And they got the people would get behind kind of FTR's pieces of it. And then you plug in Roosh, they were happy to see. It was a crowd pleaser. I liked the Bill and Ricky thing, and I always enjoy the Gates of Agony. So I genuinely enjoyed Collision, but if I was going to say one thing to actually like recommend, I thought the main event was a good time. So main event stood out for me, Monty.
I got to say the thing that what I would say, FTR, whether it doesn't matter the stakes, the situation, the feud, or whatever, they just go out there and they go hard and do their jobs, and I got to respect that. Collision was kind of just there for me this week for the most part. What I would recommend everybody check out, because it's something everyone should 100% see, is the National 69-Day segment. I think everybody should watch that for sure. It's my big recommendation of the show.
Let's just get this on this. This needs to be discussed on the show for a moment, okay? This piece of shit, Ibu Wrestlepure, my close personal friend, was mad at me because he was tracking the way I was watching Collision, and he detected that I had skipped that segment.
Yeah, I caught it.
As a friend, he was mad that I didn't also experience it. I was like, bro, I don't need to. I know that's something I don't need to watch. I can imagine. It's fine.
It's like that one week where Monty popped when you finally were watching Dynamite live and therefore could not.
That was funny.
Like, yes. Like,
I took that out of the show, skipped past it. If you take that out, I'm promising you guys, Collision was a good time. I recommend. I like the opener.
Yeah, instead of Ibu doing his fucking snarky, fucking spiteful comments, like, what cheat sarcastically. I think, since you've brought it up now with Boom, and this is a review recap show, we should actually talk about how fucking garbage that segment actually was and do our jobs properly instead of trying to be smart-mouthed little cunts about it like Ibu was just trying.
All I want to say is I said this a few months ago. I thought the Acclaim was starting to turn bad, and I thought they were the shits. I was first on it. Nobody wanted to agree. Everybody says, "Man, you're wrong. You're this." Log in. See Saturday last night. Everybody's on my side. I just want to say, I've been the curve on everything.
All right, let me introduce the segments, fella.
Have you guys supposed to know, man? He does like
dude, shut up, bro. Fuck, man. Anyway, Acclaimed. They've reached 70 days now. 69 days yesterday, though, with the AEW Trios titles, and decided to do a celebration for it for some reason. You know, because get it, guys. Haha, sex, wink, wink. So, yeah, that's what they did, and they came out and they cut a few promos. And then the celebrations then gets interrupted by Dalton Castle and the boys. Then Dalton Castle, I don't even know if that's actual heel term, but he threw the trophy on the floor, so I guess kind of. They were definitely the heels in this situation anyway. And then they proceed to have a match, which was, it was a pretty bad 20 minutes or so of television, it felt like. I don't even know if it was 20 minutes, but like it felt like about, I was going to say, it felt like a good chunk of TV time by this. And I thought it was just fucking terrible, and a lot of people thought it was just terrible. Obviously there'll be some people out there who will be like, haha, scissor me, but like,
Billy Gunn was making like
Billy
Gunn was making like dad incest jokes, and then I don't know if you caught him, Monty. He did it, and I was like, oh shit, and kind of like immediately because Joey didn't see it, he was just kind of like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting caught carried away. And I was like, what's going on? Max Caster's reaction to MJF's video message was like so cringe.
Oh, God, I forgot about that as well.
MJF had a video message for Max that they played for him. And he basically, the conclusion was like that, like, you guys are all right. I don't hate you guys, And like Max Caster's like, oh my God. Ah! And he's like popping and jumping around and shit and like blushing and stuff. And then like, what's it called? Bowen's grabbing the mic and he's like, Max, get it together, whatever. And it's just a deeply annoying wrestling segment that Joe Holbert skipped, and therefore
my monitor went out, bro. I'm sorry, it is what it is.
Fight TV, man.
Came down as soon as it ended. It was crazy.
If you didn't hear anything from us and we just happened to be going through, would you have still skipped it?
Yes, absolutely. Bro,
yeah,
the segment is called. Fuck that. I'm not watching that shit. I don't care. People be watching this saying like, well, you do podcasts, you should watch it. Oh, no, I should not. That's awful. I'm not watching that. Life is not long enough. It's not long enough.
He sent me the lyrics from a Kendrick song, and it was like, I choose me, I'm sorry.
Yes. That's my new response, yeah. It's true, you gotta choose yourself sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about a dead team and a dead tag division, bro. I mean, shit.
I think Bowen's rules.
Well, I mean, I said, yeah, he's awesome, but I meant the tag team in general. And
Bowen's is awesome. And, Billy Gunn, I don't hate him, but he's 60.
I think it's time for it.
It pops me that he's in incredible shape. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. I don't hate the dude. He's Billy Gunn, man. But he is 60.
He's just been on a lot. Yeah, he's been on a lot.
I think Billy Gunn would be great with the DX reunion. That's where he should go.
It's just the thing with the act is it's so one note. They have their one joke.
Yeah,
and they will tell it in different ways every single week, and it's like enough, man.
At least with DX, they did different. Yeah, I'm just saying, at least they did different things, with their attempts at humor. It's like, all right, this week let's make fun of the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing. Next week it's let's just decide that Bret Hart's a Klansman. Like let's be different. Let's switch it up.
Different tone. Anyway,
that clip made the rounds on Twitter.
What else we got from Collision specifically?
Hey man, did you see what Stephen A? No, I'll save it for.
I was gonna say, bro. Like, we're talking Collision. You're about to drop some Stephen A.
2.5 hours in.
Anyway,
Lance Archer, Monty. Lance Archer.
That's Archer, Darby Allin. Good match, of course.
Wrong.
Darby bumping like a fucking lunatic. back to the normal Darbyisms, you know, in that sense. Lance Archer was definitely a good guy at throwing Darby around, you know. This is a hoot, Joe.
It was, mate. I hope Lance can stick around now. It seems like the righteous thing is going to be like some kind of direction. My faith in that being a thing that stays on TV is like non-existent because Jake kind of just vanishes very frequently. Always pops when he's there, but the match was really, really good. Yeah, I mean, this was an obvious pairing, right? These two are like kind of made. Lance has got a bunch of things he can hurl Darby with and a lot of cool offense. So, really good match.
I saw the clip of the righteous. Who's the guy that likes to snap? What's his name?
Vincent.
Yeah.
Dutch is the big one.
And Vince is really good at snapping. He does it on cue with this song. I was shocked. I kept replaying it because he was always on cue when it came to the song. It was pretty impressive.
Oh, you know, I think you would know after a certain amount of time of it being your theme. But anyway.
I kept replaying it. It's crazy, bro.
I know. Money the hoop, but anyway.
Just looping it.
But yeah, the righteous then were unveiled because, you know, obviously Lance Archer came out with Jake the Snake. You know, it was a pop to see him again, as always. His voice is certainly very unique these days, you know. But, you know, after Archer loses to, what was it? It was like a sunset
bomb.
Yeah, sunset bomb from the second rope, not even the top rope. It's not like it fully flattened out Archer, you know what I mean? Right. Like he kicked out like 3.5 and he looked all pissed off and then he attacked Darby after. But yeah, Jake the Snake introduced new members of his group, the Righteous. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Ibby, what did you think of the piece of business as a whole?
Yeah, you know, when Jake first came into AEW, striking like how much his voice was shot, but now it just actively pops me. And so hearing him just Jake waffle over the theme song was kind of beast, where he's just like, let me tell you something, all right, Darby, he's doing that whole thing, and you're hearing the song, it just, you know, it's cool. I don't think much of the Righteous, but what I take away from this is, hey, at least they're gonna try something with Lance again for a little bit, and we'll see how long it lasts and if it sticks. They did a couple pairings on this show. They did Kip Sabian and the Workhorsemen. I forgot what they called themselves, but it was a really funny name. Does anyone remember?
I don't know, like the Sexy Stallions or some shit like that.
The Sex Stallions.
I don't know, but their opponents being like Tony Schiavone yelling the Briscoes and the Rhodes together is like an actual awesome moment. Like legitimately, that was really cool. Dustin Rhodes and Mark Briscoe being on the same tag team on a Saturday Night Wrestling show.
Yeah,
it's real graps, brother.
Wait. So Dustin and
Keith
Mark
Lee.
Keith Lee.
It was a trio. It's true. Mark's not doing tag matches.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what is it called? Yeah. So they're trying something out with Lance Archer again. He has a direction of some kind, and I'm obviously open to seeing where it goes because I'm high on Lance Archer, man. I think he's quite good, you know, and I think he deserved to be on television more than he's been in the last couple months. So, you know, just for the sake of that, I hope this sticks and kind of goes somewhere.
Yeah, man. The opener was AR Fox and Swerve. This was a pretty good bit of business. I liked how they started with like the opening pyro of Collision, and it was just AR Fox just beating Swerve up down the ramp. Hot start, good stuff. I thought the post match was pretty dire. To be fair, it was just kind of like this heatless brawling amongst different talents who were just kept running down and stuff. What else did we get on this show? Willow, of course.
Willow and Emmy was good.
Yeah, Willow versus Emmy, decent bit of time. Just love seeing Willow. You know, it's just great seeing Willow. She's just an awesome, organic, natural baby face. You know, Mark Briscoe challenged Jay White to a match which we're getting Wednesday. He called him an imposter with the belt.
He's so awesome, bro.
Yeah, he had a couple moments.
I love Mark Briscoe, man.
So
how did we go like 3 months without Mark Briscoe? You know, like he's just such a joy.
He's got some great new tattoos as well. Like he's got the 13 on his neck, which is the amount of times him and Jay won the tag titles in ROH. And then he's got like a portrait on his forearm, which is like one of the best portraits I've seen. Because normally when people get portraits, they're a bit like
it's TS time. He also peak Mark Briscoe that he worked a trios match and worked like 90% of it rather than just making the hot tag. You know, like he was like in the entire body of the match.
Oh, yeah,
what a legend!
He's a beast, mate. But I think like the big thing coming out of Collision for me, anyway, from what I saw, was kind of what's coming on Wednesday and the effort to build Wednesday's show. It seems like Tony Khan has definitely taken some note of the criticisms he's got this week, and he's gone to kind of the a very very typical of AEW over the years supercard. That's what you can tell. There's at least an attempt at trying to build some sort of supercard here for Wednesday. So like the first one I think from this show that was announced was Swerve versus Penta, which I thought this is a whole conversation, which I guess we'll save this one for tomorrow. But it's a step in the right direction, but it doesn't really fix the issues, of just throwing up a bunch of good match graphics. And I think like the Swerve Penta one is a pretty good example of that, in the sense of like it's like Alex Abrahantes he's obviously Swerve's like manager, whatever you want to call him. And he's got some promos on or something, and he's saying something, and then he gets interrupted by Swerve. And Alex Abrahantes is like, "Oh, I saw what you did going into Hangman's house and talking to his kid." He's like, "Oh, that's just out of order," which is like, standard. You know what I mean? And then he's like, "Oh, who cares about his family? Penta cares about his family. So next week he's gonna wrestle you, like, bro."
He might be trying to kill Alex off on screen. We're being honest.
Did you see that somebody posted a graphic of Jay White and Swerve? They're just wrestling the same dudes.
Yeah, I did see that. I doubt Hulbert did.
I get what you mean, though. Yeah, because on they did AR Fox. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I follow this. Thank you, Manny.
But yeah, man. But at the end of the day, we're getting Penta versus Swerve. On Wednesday, we're also getting Red Velvet's returning. Red Velvet versus Julia Hart. Samoa Joe versus Keith Lee. They bumped into each other backstage, and they ended up talking themselves into a match. That's another good one. Of course, yes. Mark Briscoe, as I previously mentioned, is facing the imposter, Jay White.
I would like to know. Go on, Manny, go.
That Samoa Joe and Keith Lee match about looked like Data 3000 and freaking Kimbo Slice out there. If you've seen that,
that was crazy what you just said. Secondly, I would like to know. Jokes. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. Do not believe CageMatch.net. This is not a first-time match between Keith Lee and Samoa Joe. If they continue to advertise it as such, I will in fact inform the police, and I'm willing to take this to court. A friend of mine was in attendance for their first singles match, July 2015. 50 people were there in Texas. Samoa Joe just signed for NXT, but was finishing up his dates. Tony Khan, come on to you. Don't false advertise. It's one thing, what do we always say? You can't false advertise wrestling pro. It's illegal.
Well, he said, I ain't gonna.
It's such a niche bit that, like, no,
So like I said, Collision, the main thing coming out of it was kind of like the effort for next week, and like I said, it's a step in the right direction, but I don't think it actually fixes like the actual issues, like fundamentally, that they have. But like I said, a step in the right direction. We won't deep dive into it because we're already over 2:30 into this, so that'll be a conversation for tomorrow's Worldwide. Well, anything else? Super chats. Will Chisholm $4. Paul Heyman also thought Madcap Moss could be a big sign WWE, and he said that about fake Brock, aka Parker. Man, he's a worker, brother. Will again, appreciate you $2. We know Cody wants that match with Will. Me.
Rhodes? I'm pretty sure it happened before. You find
possibly, but I'm not 100% certain. But even still, like, I'm sure he
would. A much different version of both.
I don't think he's like clamoring to wrestle Will. I don't think that's kind of like the code. I think there's one person that Cody's clamoring to wrestle right now.
It's Roman.
It's Roman Reigns. Darren Walker, £2. Appreciate you. That acclaim segment was not good. That's putting it lightly, mate. And you're normally You're normally the spiteful one, Darren Walker, but you're quite reserved there.
Cody has wrestled with Ospreay twice in singles matches and 4 times in multi-man matches.
New Japan, brother. Rock Hard, Joel Wood, $4.99. Appreciate you. I didn't watch the National 69-day celebration, but this can't be how it actually went. There's no way they put that on television. I thought that whilst watching it, mate. We'll choose them $2. It's sad to see what the CM Punk show has become. Collision's like it's still better than Dynamite, so for me. We'll choose
a very high bar.
Stop, man! He's so smart. He doesn't even watch any of it.
He doesn't watch any of these.
I watch it sometimes.
No, you don't.
Bro, that Keith Lee Swerjo line was crazy, bro.
He just watches the timeline, bro. He sees clips at AO posts. That's what he sees. We'll choose on $5. Appreciate it. Can we talk about how the NWA went NWA and messed themselves out of a TV deal?
That was so funny, man.
I'm pretty sure they.
Why would you do that?
I'm pretty sure they weren't getting paid a lot anyway. So this is good. This is some good.
I don't think you. Don't think you read the report, brother.
No, I didn't.
All right, so those of you who don't know, NWA have recently, I guess, agreed in principle. Because it's not like it's came to fruition yet, but apparently they were on the cusp of like a TV deal with the CW, which is obviously a smaller channel over there in the States, but it's a channel, you know what I mean? They got themselves a deal. And on one of the, probably the most recent NWA pay-per-view, there was like a spot where they're like, one of the groups in NWA is like partying, like in the venue. And the camera like pans over to them, and they're all drinking at the table and look like the partying and stuff like that. And then one of the guys on the side is just doing bumps, bro. He's just fucking.
It's the minister.
James Mitchell, yeah.
Father James Mitchell.
So James Mitchell sat at the table doing bumps of coke, or what is said to be believed, what we're kayfabe's meant to believe is coke.
It was like that. It's like that one time you saw the AAA and Hugo had white stuff all over his face, and he's doing commentary. You guys ever seen that picture?
Something like that, man. Close enough, But anyway, so yeah, basically the CW, the people who are apparently giving NWA this TV deal, saw this and they were not happy about it. Nick Hausman did an exclusive report on it yesterday. And the headline was cocaine spot at NWA pay-per-view could negatively impact the CW deal. One of the quotes in it was, the recent cocaine spot upset higher-ups at the CW, where we're also told that the cocaine spot was Corgan's idea and he pushed for it to be on the pay-per-view.
The story itself is funnier than the headline, which is crazy because the headline is an all-timer.
Then, as you go into the story, man, this kind of touches on what I was getting to with you. Was as it stands, basically the people in CW are unhappy, and now there's basically an active push by the higher ups in the CW to make sure that the NWA doesn't actually air their content on the television channel, and rather they end up just on the CW app, whatever the fuck that is. So it's all falling apart for the NWA and Billy Corgan,
man. If you're Court Bauer, you're probably pumping your fists right now. You're like, fuck, man. The NWA got on TV before we did, and then, now they're going to be on the app. So, I mean, I guess Court Bauer can take this as a W.
Even, like, as funny as this is still, like, the coolest thing the NWA has been a part of in, like, 5 years. Just because it's, like, at least it's, like, humorous. Bro, they blew a TV spot with a cocaine spot. That's kind of beast.
The most unforced error. Like,
it's kind of awesome.
Cody winning the big one with tears in his eyes, It's kind of...
Wait, before we move on.
Since then.
How much... I need somebody to go... It's on the chat to look up how much it costs, the CW app monthly, because who's paying that for the NWA? Like, what do they even play on the CW? He signs like
that's a good assignment
you
for
have
you, man.
2 British guys and a 74-year-old man. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, on that hilarious note, NWA seems like the fucked it, mate. With this self-inflicted wound that they've delivered themselves.
the CW's free.
Rock Hard Joe Award $4.99. Last super chat before we get out of here. Only NWA can go from YouTube to an app with less traffic. Yeah, man. These are the games we play as wrestling fans. Anyway, right. Please like the video, guys, because we've put in a big shift tonight. 2 hours 44 minutes. Probably will be 2:45 by the time we wrap this up. Big shift, big game today, guys. We've done the Crown Jewel review and all that stuff. We talked CM Punk rumors. Ibu even gave you a scoop, Yeah, we've had Manny the Hooper. It's been like an old classic worldwide. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So leave us a like, leave us a comment after the video goes up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It seems unrealistic, but I really want to try to get to 5K subscribers by the end of the year. We've got just under 2 months to get 1,000 subs. So maybe we need to get a couple interviews in or something, get those big jumps. So yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already. So, Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like the video if you haven't already. Appreciate all you guys sending the super chats. It's absolutely the reason why we're able to stream as much as we do. And one last time, please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. For myself, Joe Hulbert, Manny, Ibu, we will catch you tomorrow. Hopefully Manny can do a run-in. Peace.